Chapter 3770. The Shuangguang Phantom Method is a bit too scary. Once cast, even if the evil master can't keep up with the speed of Jian Wushuang, it is easily suppressed by Jian Wushuang. Next, there was a complete, one-sided suppression, and the evil lord could not even find many opportunities to fight back. So it didn't take long before the evil lord conceded. Since then, the first person dominated by the top has become sword unparalleled. In the 7,500th year of the opening of the Red Cloud Realm, on the first continent, Jian Wushuang finally encountered a top master. The top master is the Empty Master. This is a top master with terrific fame and extremely terrible strength. His Majesty, the Emperor of the Air, also has a huge force. This force is no less than the Beihai Palace under the leadership of Tianpeng, and is even slightly stronger than the Beihai Palace to a certain extent. And the decisive killer rises in the wind, stepping on the endless skeletal bones. Perhaps he may not be stronger than Tianpeng's dominance in terms of strength, but he is undoubtedly more awesome or afraid. Before Jian Wushuang heard that the empty owner was rushing on the first continent, he deliberately rushed over. After encountering the empty owner, he was immediately overjoyed and went straight up to challenge without saying a word. As the top master, the empty master claimed his identity and would not go to the trouble of the weak, but if anyone did not open his eyes to provoke him, he would kill him without mercy. So when Jian Wushuang took the initiative to challenge, he shot without hesitation. In this battle, the fighting sky was dark, and many people watched the battle. And the final result of this battle was even more horrifying to everyone. Before Jian Wushuang fought against the Empty Master, almost everyone thought that the battle was one-sided. After all, the Empty Master was the top master and had been famous for a long time. And the sword, unparalleled, even if the combat power is extraordinary, is known as the first person under the top master, but he is just a ruler? In many people's opinion, how can a ruler have a limit against the sky? It is already incredible to be able to defeat a high-level master. As for the top masters, few people think so. In fact, in this battle, sword warriors broke out with full force. Many methods of mystic skills were launched at the same time, and it also triggered the strength of 30% of the dragons in Wujin demon armor, which instantly increased its power to the level of the top master. And his sword skills are also extremely powerful in conjunction with the Shuangguang Phantom Method, and fight against the Empty Master in a short time did not fall in the slightest. Of course, the Empty Master is the Empty Master after all. After a fierce battle with Jian Wushuang, he finally went all out, and the secret technique was also launched, and finally the sword Wushuang reluctantly suppressed. But it was only barely suppressed. The empty owner also found himself unable to defeat Jian Wushuang directly. Finally, after nearly half an hour of fierce fighting, the two finally stopped. After the end of this battle, the empty master announced to the outside that Jian Wushuang already has the top dominating combat power. As soon as the news spread, the entire Red Cloud Realm became a sensation. Jian Wushuang is just a ruler? This is confirmed by several top masters, and even the top masters agree that Jian Wushuang is only the master of rules, so it is naturally impossible for him to rely on mystery to hide his cultivation. And the ruler has the top dominator's combat power, which is really too scary. On the first continent, above the vast void, Jian Wushuang was slowly moving forward, and at the same time he was chatting with the Lord of the Heavens and the Lord of Time and Space and the Xian Shinto, Tianho Xiaoyu, Yuduan Tino. Now the entire Red Cloud Realm and even the entire star field are completely sensational. Although I am in the Xinggong Palace, there are already a lot of masters who have sent me messages to have a good relationship with me. Especially the leaders of some forces in this star domain all congratulated me and came to make good friends with me. Honestly, my star house has also existed in this star field for many years and has a certain status in this star field, but this position is only average among the many forces in this star field. But it's completely different. Xian Shinto laughed. Haha, it's normal. Although there are some strong players in this star field, there are only 4 or 5 top masters, at most 6 or 7. Any top master can go sideways in this star field. No one dared to provoke me. Before that, my star palace relied on a few of us to sit in town. At that time, I, Zhitian, and Tianzu had not publicly stated their position. It can be said that the star palace is mysterious God. How many people have the heart in mind? But now, as soon as we have stated our position, the star palace has several more masters at once. And more importantly, Tianho Xiaoyu is now recognized as having the top master's fighting power. Don't pay attention? The Lord of Time and Space also laughed aloud. Yes, the top master is different from the ordinary primary master and higher master. This is the strongest combat power in this star field. There is such a combat power. The star palace is absolutely no one in this star field dare to provoke it. Even if we are a little ambitious, we can easily become the top ruler of this star field, just like Beihai Palace. Beihai Palace is a big hegemon in this star field. It is headed by Tianpeng, who dominates this top master. His Majesty also has 2 masters, and the Beihai Palace also has a profound heritage. However, the current Shingon Palace, but the number of dominating more than Beihai Palace, the top dominated combat power, there are swords in Wushuang sit, is not weaker than Beihai Palace. What is lacking is the bottom line and the rule of the main level of combat power. But the bottom line can be plundered, such as to destroy some other forces and plunder resources. And the ruler is better. www. Novel. After Jian Wushuang's fame is out, many strong people are eager to join the Star Palace. As long as the Star Palace is willing, they can gather a large group of rules. Master of the strong level. Hearing these people's conversation, Jian Wushuang only smiled slightly. Although the entire star field is now saying that he is the most terrible evil in this star field history, the master level of the rule has the top dominating combat power. But in fact, Jian Wushuang himself is very clear his master Xian, originally at the level of the rule master, he also has the top dominating combat power. But it's not long after Xian Yi had that combat power, and he didn't have time to show his strength in this star field. So I know this. Not much. In other words, he is not the first genius in the history of this star field. At least his master is in front of him. Chapter 3771. Of course, the reason why his master Xian Yi was able to match the top masters at the level of rule masters, in addition to being a perfect life in itself, is mainly because of that town monument. Xuan Yi was able to reach the top dominating level just because he had mastered the Xintian monument, although Jian Wushuang also relied on the power of the treasure, but his own strength still occupies a large factor. So to speak, even though he can't say that he surpassed his master, at least he can barely compare with his master. I've already had a battle with the top master, and I don't need to continue in this red cloud world anymore. It's time to set out for the 7th continent and take a look at Tianfeng. Wushuang laughed. Jian Tianho, are you going to step on the peak of the sky? Asked the leader of the Celestial Alliance. Jian Wushuang nodded. Okay, good luck to you. Ha! I hope you can become the first person in this star field to cross the Tianfeng peak. The Master of Space and Time also laughed. They are very relaxed inside. Tianfeng is a legend of the Red Cloud realm. No one has been able to pass the test on Tianfeng, but although the test on Tianfeng is extremely difficult, there is no danger of his life. Even if they can't make it, they can retreat. They will naturally not worry. Jian Wushuang smiled. and soon swept towards the seventh continent where Tiantianfeng was located. The 7 continents of the Red Cloud realm, the first to the 6th continent, are all scattered around. Only the 7th continent is at the center of the other continents, and Tiantianfeng is located at the center of the 7th continent. At the speed of the sword, unparalleled, it didn't take long before they came to the 7th continent. There are still a large number of practitioners on this 7th continent fighting frantically for the treasure. But Jian Wushuang has no interest in these treasures. He was not very fast along the way, so he went straight towards the most central stepping peak of the 7th continent. On the way, naturally encountered many practitioners. That dress and that look is the Lord of the Blood Sword. It's him. Wasn't he on the 1st continent before? And it's not long since he fought with the Empty Master. Why is he now on the 7th continent? The 7th continent is located at the center of the other continents. There were a lot of strong men who had been here. Now, there is a Blood Sword Master who has the top dominating combat power. Now, we want to get the treasure. Difficulty, even bigger. No, except that the Lord of the Blood Swords contended for the highest treasure in the 3rd continent for the first 5,000 years. The next thing he moved around in other continents, challenged the master, but did not participate in the highest treasure of the treasure. Obviously, he is no longer interested in those precious treasures born in the Red Cloud realm. And now he comes to this 7th continent, either to challenge the strong or to come towards the Tianfeng peak. Treading Tianfeng, many practitioners on the 7th continent could not help shaking. Although they are all on the 7th continent, and they all know the existence of Taishanfeng, the test in Taishanfeng is too difficult. They have no possibility at all. So they have always regarded that Taishanfeng as the impassable mountain in my heart. And now Jian Wushuang deliberately rushed to this 7th continent, and looking at the direction of his advance, it is clear that he came towards that peak. The Lord of the Blood Sword. It seems that he is really going to break into Tianfeng. Well, stepping on the peak of the sky is a legend. Although the Red Cloud realm has existed for so many years and has been born so many times, there are also countless powerful men who have come forward to it, but so far no one can really leave at the top of the mountain. Although the Lord of the Blood Swords is against the sky, I am afraid that he still cannot break through. It is difficult to say that the Lord of the Blood Sword has the top dominating power at the level of the Rule Master. He is completely hopeful to make a breakthrough. Maybe he really broke through? A large number of practitioners on the 7th continent talked. Stepping on the peak of the sky is an insurmountable mountain for many people, and they do not see any hope of breaking through. But the sword unparalleled. It is the first evil in this star field ever. The Rule Master level has the top dominating combat power. So against the sky, this also let them see a glimmer of hope. Maybe Jian Wushuang can really break through? Jian Wushuang did not pay attention to the thoughts of these practitioners. He went all the way forward and soon reached the center of this 7th continent, just before stepping on Tianfeng. In front of me is a towering blood-colored giant peak. This blood-colored giant peak is directly inserted into the top red cloud. When people stand in front of this blood-colored giant peak, they can only feel 2 words, which is small. Even if it was Jian Wushuang coming to this giant peak, his heart couldn't help shaking. This giant peak is really too towering, and its breadth is too magnificent, standing under Tianfeng, even though Jian Wushuang couldn't help raising a trace of awe. It is said that the peak of Tiantian Peak is connected to the 2nd heaven and earth of the Red Cloud realm. Unfortunately, from the birth of Red Cloud realm to the present, no one in this star domain has ever been able to truly set foot on the peak of Tianfeng. Sword Warrior's Secret Road. From the mouth of Xianshen, Jian Wushuang also knew a little about this step to Tianfeng. This stepping Tianfeng is the only way to reach the second heavy sky of the red cloud realm. Anyone who comes to the stepping Tianfeng cannot go directly to the sky, but must go up from the bottom of the peak step by step, and finally reach the peak. But on the way to the summit, there are 2 tests, to be precise, 2 guardians. Only by passing the test of these 2 gatekeepers can we go to the top of the sky. As for whether or not there is a 3rd test after reaching the summit of Peking at www.novel.com, that is, the existence of a 3rd gatekeeper, it is unknown. After all, no one has set foot on the peak. Even the strongest in this star field can only pass the test of the foot of the mountain, but when they reach the mountainside, they will be easily defeated by the gatekeeper on the mountainside. Even if it is the top master, I can only pass the test at the foot of the mountain, but I am not the master, just a ruler. This test of Tianfeng seems to have something to do with the practitioner's own realm. Sword Wushuang secretly thought. If the rule master is the same as the master, then even the top master cannot pass the test on the mountainside, and the sword Wushuang naturally cannot break through. But he is only a ruler, and he has a great advantage in this regard. Try it. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath, and his body shape appeared at the foot of Taishanfeng. There was a road to the peak that was completely paved by steps. Chapter 3772. Starting from the first step, Jian Wushuang stepped forward step by step. His pace was not fast, and he did not encounter any resistance on this step. He easily walked over hundreds of steps. However, this step to the Tianfeng peak is too tall. The road to the peak, at least, must have tens of thousands of steps. After Jian Wushuang passed the hundreds of steps, he still only steps at the foot of the mountain. At this time, Jian Wushuang saw a gazebo beside the steps above. Inside the gazebo, there was a man in black with his back facing Jian Wushuang, sitting there. The man in black looks very ordinary, and he doesn't exude a little bit of breath. Even though Jian Wushuang looked up at him, he didn't feel any divine power fluctuation from the man in black. However, it was the induction that made Jian Wushuangsen vigilant. At this time, the man in black also seemed to notice the arrival of Jian Wushuang, and saw that he turned to his side, and a pair of dark eyes looked at Jian Wushuang. This glance is just a simple gaze. But at the moment when the man in black looked at Jian Wushuang felt only a shock in his heart, as if the whole person had been thoroughly penetrated by the other person. Those bland eyes seemed to have a special magic power, and immediately let Jian Wushuang calm down. Little guy, you should be tired after walking for so long. I have a bowl of coarse tea here. How about coming over for a cup? The bland voice came from the man in black. Jian Wushuang saw that the man in black was sitting on the stone table. He did have 2 bowls of tea. He nodded slightly and walked over. I brewed the tea myself and tasted it. The man in black made an inviting gesture. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate, took a bowl of tea in front of him, and drank it. Tea in the throat suddenly felt a strange bitter taste. This bitterness makes Jian Wushuang could not help but smash his tongue. But after the tea came into the belly, it was warm and pleasant. How do you feel? The man in black asked with a smile. Very good, just bitter. Jian Wushuangdo. Haha, eating hard and suffering. Fong Weran, little fellow, since you have eaten my tea, it means that you and I have a destiny. For you and me, you have a destiny. I advise you, where did you come from? Where to go? This stepping Tianfeng is not so easy to break. The man in black said, I haven't really begun to make inroads yet. Do you know that I can't make it? Jian Wushuang asked with interest. Hee, the red cloud realm has existed in your star field for so many years. Over the years, how many people have come here and stepped on Tianfeng, not to mention the ruler of you, even the master. There are hundreds of people who are afraid to come and go, but there are only a few of these masters who can pass me. And even if these masters are lucky, they pass through the guard that I guarded. On the mountainside, they will still be easily beaten back. Even those who reach the top of the first series, even a few second series masters, will be easily defeated by the mountainside man. Why is there a ruler in your area? The man in black said. Hearing the words of the man in black, Jian Wu's eyes narrowed. He didn't doubt the truth of the man in black. The Red Cloud Realm has been in this star field for a long time. During this period, many star masters have been born in this star field. At the same time, many masters have already left this star field and headed for the more expansive star field. Now, all these are counted. It is normal for hundreds of masters to come here to cross Tiantianfeng. Among the hundreds of masters, there must be some top masters. According to what the man in black said, even if they are top masters, the general top masters still CANT pass him. Even if they pass by luck, they wait until the mountainside. At the same time, it would be easily defeated by the gatekeeper, who was guarded on the mountainside, which made Jian Wushuang quite surprised. The man in black just said that the second-ranking dominator, even the second-ranking dominator, can't stand a shot in front of the guard who guards the mountainside. After all, the master is the master. Compared with the master of the rules, the requirements are naturally higher. I am only a master of the rules. To pass you, shouldn't you need the top master's combat power? Jian Wushuang asked. Of course, it is not necessary, but it is not easy to pass me. You want to try it? The man in black looked at Jian Wushuang with a smile. Of course, I don't just walk around here when I step on Tianfeng Peak. Jian Wushuang smiled. Okay. The man in black stood up. Let's get started. Just here. Jian Wushuang frowned. This is still at the foot of Tianfeng Mountain, and there is no spacious space around him to let them fight. Don't worry, not here. The man in black smiled. The tea you just ate is special. It can bring your consciousness into a special space. I also have a drink, so you and my consciousness will be in later. Fight in that special space, and in that special space, your strength can be used to the fullest without any restrictions. Even the power of Jibao is the same. Oh! Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. He didn't expect that the cup of tea he had just eaten had such an effect. You wait a moment, then the tea will be effective soon. The man in black said. Sure enough, Jian Wushuang only felt that his body was fluttering and his consciousness was led by a special force, and soon came to a special space. Here is a vast sea area. This sea area has a range of hundreds of millions of miles, let alone the sword is unparalleled. Even if the digital second or even third dominated here, they can fight freely. It wasn't long after Jian was double body condensed over the sea, and the figure of the man in black also appeared. Little guy, let's get out of it. The man in black smiled slightly, flipped it over, and took out a dark gun. Although this dark pistol spreads an ancient atmosphere, its power is very general, and it is obviously not very amazing. Sword Wushuang and nonsense. Huang Quan's Excalibur immediately emerged from the sheath. Huh! A shocking sky of swords swept up. Instantly, Huang Quan Excalibur was in hand, and the sword Wushuang immediately sensed the power of Huang Quan Excalibur. Sure enough, even in the space of consciousness, the power of this Huang Quan divine sword is the same as in reality. A smile appeared on Jian Wushuang's face, followed by his figure, and he had already shot directly. Wow! I saw a cold sword light, cut out directly over a distance. The sword was cut in the void, but a huge crack appeared in the sea below. Oh, dominate the level of combat power? The man in black appeared surprised. Chapter 37, 73. It's a bit of strength. No wonder it's so confident. The man in black smiled, slightly. He guarded in this stepping sky peak. I do know how many years in this star field alone he has stayed for a few chaotic times. And in this long time, there are countless rulers come to challenge him. But these of the rule masters, there are very few that can erupt the level of dominance. And Jian Wushuang is undoubtedly one of them. However, even if you have the power to dominate and want to pass me, it is not so easy. The man in black looked relaxed and relaxed. After seeing Na Sun Lung Jianguang cut, he raised his hand and stabbed 3 shots straight forward. Huh, 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 as if 3 streamers flashed at the same time. One streamer hit the sword light directly and crushed the sword light directly, while the other 2 streamers came from the left and right towards the sword, unparalleled. At the same time, a special mood has risen. For a while, Jian Wushuang felt that he had fallen into an endless wave, and the 2 streamers from the 2 bursts were 2 of them. Interesting. Jian Wushuang smiled, and his figure easily strayed from those 2 streamers, but before he continued to shoot, the man in black wobbled at random. Suddenly, I saw a large number of sprays sweeping over him. Densely, he came from all directions towards his body. Jian Wushuang waved his hand, and the sword shadows burst out, destroying all the waves that swept away. But the number of those waves was too much, like an endless amount. Humph! Jian Wu's eyes were cold, and the divine power in his hand suddenly burst. Wow! A cold sword light suddenly swept out. This sword light, with an endless hatred, straddled the void in a destructive manner, and actually tore the waves in front of it. No matter how strong your artistic conception is, tear it directly. Jian Wushuang muttered, but the tide has just been torn. Boom. When I saw a lot of air waves rolling wildly, it seemed like endless waves rolling up in the sea. These waves are surging. The power of the carrier's astonishing power, and the endless assault of swords sweeping across. In a short time, Jian Wushuang seemed to be a lonely boat among the waves. This marksmanship. Jian Wushuang's bottom of his heart could not help raising a touch of shock. The power revealed by the man in black was not too strong. At most, it was only the primary dominating level. But his marksmanship, especially the artistic conception in his marksmanship, was rich and scary. That mood is like an endless wave rolling, continuous, making Jian Wushuang completely trapped in it, unable to escape. Wow, 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 wow. The endless waves rolled. And among the waves exuding a breath of coldness were swept up by the continuous swords. The waves are endless. Jian Wushuang was completely drowned by these waves. In the face of these crazy waves, Jian Wushuang also fully exerted his sword skills and saw countless sword lights coming out from his hands. The speed of these sword lights is extremely fast and extremely mysterious. Each sword light has the origin of Kendo universe and collides with those crazy waves. In a short period of time, Jian Wushuang collided tens of thousands of times with the waves around him. But the waves are endless, and they are still sweeping wildly. Great, this marksmanship. Endless, it's too powerful. Jian Wushuang couldn't help but admire. This is the true marksmanship. The artistic conception and the mystery contained in it are simply unpredictable. The martial arts encountered by those who are good at marksmanship are completely different. He has also met many strong men who are good at marksmanship before. He is also encountered by top masters like Supreme Master. However, whether it is those masters and masters who are good at marksmanship or top masters like the Supreme Master, their marksmanship is also extremely good, but most of them are relatively single, either purely mighty or extreme. Terrible. Although it also contains a good mystery. The artistic conception of marksmanship is not high, At least it wouldn't be like it is now. With a single shot, the sword unparalleled was drawn into the endless waves. This man in black, even though his might is not too powerful, is better than any other marksmanship he has encountered before. If you are only an ordinary ruler or an ordinary elementary master, as long as you are caught in this endless wave, there is almost no possibility of struggle. You can only be trapped in this wave and be born alive. Compared to the shock of Jian Wushuang, the man in black was quite surprised at the moment. This little guy caught in my wave style can persist for so long? The man in black couldn't help but look at Jian Wushuang more, although because of his identity as a gatekeeper, when facing the ruler of Jian Wushuang, his strength cannot be exerted much. Even if it is the wave style of the firing method now being cast, which contains the artistic conception and mystery, it is only 1,000th of the peak period, but even so, it is not the master of the rules, or even the general primary masters can resist. But Jian Wushuang fell into this endless wave and persisted for so long, and continued to do so, which naturally made the men in black look a little eye-catching. Just then, plunged into the endless waves, seemingly passively resisting those spraying swords, and finally began to erupt. "I won't play with you. Break me!" Jian Wushuang screamed loudly. He didn't improve his power, just holding the sword in two hands and cutting out in anger. The strongest sword skill, created by Jian Wushuang, fell to Huang Quan. A huge sword light swept out instantly, cold and ruthless, as if you can tear away all obstacles in front of you. The most important thing is that at the moment when Jianguang showed off, the man in black clearly felt a breath of the law of the universe from this sword. This sword. The man in black narrowed his eyes sharply. The cold and ruthless Jianguang was tearing all the obstacles in front of him, tearing the endless waves, and even the artistic conception of guns surrounding the surrounding world was smashed by strangulation. The endless waves disappeared directly, but the cold and ruthless Jianguang, but still slashing, continued to cut off to the black man in the rear. The man in black raised the spear in his hand and blocked it in front of him. Clang! With a loud noise, the figure of the man in black was extremely heavy, and he took a few steps back before he could stand still again. In the space of consciousness, the outcome is already known. Chapter 3774, Stepping into the Peak. In the gazebo at the foot of the mountain, the eyes of Jian Wushuang and the man in black opened at the same time. "Senior, let it go." Jian Wushuang looked at the man in black and saluted slightly. Just before, Jian Wushuang only called this man in black as your lord, but after the battle in the consciousness space, Jian Wushuang understood that the other person's realm was much higher than himself, and he could be in the consciousness space. The main reason for defeating the other party is because the other party is the gatekeeper. In the face of being the ruler of one's own rule, the strength can only reach a certain level. As for the true strength of this man in black, there is no doubt that it is much stronger than Jian Wushuang. The shot he cast in the conscious space alone, the mystery contained in it, is enough to prove his monstrous strength. I didn't expect your ruler to have a breath of the laws of the universe, which is rare. The man in black looked at Jian Wushuang in admiration, then shook his head and said, "Although you have a bit of strength, you have also passed the level I defended, but what you will face next is the test of the mountainside. The one guarded at the mountainside, although the real strength is not much better than me, but at the mountainside, the combat power he can exert is far above me. If your strength is only the level of consciousness space just now, I advise you to give up directly, because this kind of strength, there is no possibility to pass the test of the mountainside. The senior just lost too quickly. How do you know that it is my strongest strength?" Jian Wushuang chuckled. "Oh, looks like you still have more than just left." The man in black smiled slightly. "Well, then I won't persuade it. Go. I hope you can break through the level on the mountainside. Jian Wushuang saluted the man in black again, then left the gazebo and continued to walk up the steps. Seeing Jian Wushuang leaving, the man in black sat down slowly and poured himself a bowl of tea. Looking at the little guy's appearance just in the conscious space, he did not use all his strength. It may even hide a lot of his strength, otherwise he might not be so confident. The man in black groaned secretly. In his opinion, he has shown his weak means in the consciousness space, and he also shows that the test on the mountainside is more difficult than his own. But Jian Wushuang is still so confident, which has fully demonstrated that Jian Wushuang's strength is far from being as simple as the space of consciousness. And it is true. In the space of consciousness, the sword unparalleled is only his swordsmanship. As for the power he uses is also the primary level of dominance, which is the same as the man in black. As for the mysterious means and the highest treasure, he never used it. It can be said that most of his combat power is hidden and revealed in the space of consciousness just now, but only the tip of the iceberg. Because of this, when the man in black said how difficult the test at the mountainside was, Jian Wushuang didn't worry about it at all. Instead, he had absolute confidence. Oh, if that's the case, it's interesting. The man in black laughed, suddenly, followed the thought, and passed the word, "Old guy, a little guy will come to you right away. You can be careful. The little guy is not weak, so don't capsize in the gutter." After saying this, the man in black ignored the other's response and closed his eyes. After defeating the man in black in the space of consciousness, after passing the test of the foot of the mountain, Jian Wushuang continued to move forward. After walking thousands of steps, no two sides of the sword reached the mountainside where Tianfeng was reached, and beside the mountainside steps there is a simple hut. The door of the hut was open, and Jian Wushuang stepped directly into the hut. Immediately, he saw a rough case placed inside the hut and an old man with white beard and white robe sitting cross-legged on a futon. The old man with white beard and white robe had vicissitudes of his face, and his body was extremely thin. Like the man in black at the foot of the mountain, there was no breath exuding from him. He sat there as if an old monk had settled in, making the whole hut seem silent for everyone. Jian Tianho have met seniors. Jian Wushuang bowed slightly, saluting the old man with white beard and white robe. The old man with white beard and white robe opened his eyes, exposing a pair of strange eyes with a slight white light. These eyes seemed to have no emotion at all, extremely cold. "Master of rules?" The old man with white beard and white robe looked up at Jian Wushuang and nodded slightly. The master of the rules can walk to the old man. This is the fourth in the recent chaotic era. You are a good guy. In the words of the old man with white beard and white robe, there was obviously a trace of appreciation. When hearing the words of the old man with white beard and white robe, Jian Wushuang's heart moved. The old man with white beard and white robe said that in the recent chaos period, Jian Wushuang estimated that it should be within the chaos period that the Red Cloud Realm was born in this star field. In these chaos periods, he is the ruler of the rule, and the fourth one came to him. That is, before him, there were 3 other rulers in this star domain, and they also came here. Jian Wushuang was not surprised by this. After all, there are several chaotic eras, and for such a long time, this star domain has been born without knowing many rules, and there are also some top geniuses. It is normal for a few top geniuses to compete with the dominance of the rule at the level of the master of the rule. Although the test at the foot of the mountain is not easy to pass, according to the sword's unparalleled estimate, if the ruler has only the primary top-level combat power, it is likely to pass. After a few chaotic times, it was normal for 3 rulers to pass the test at the foot of the mountain. The predecessor is the guardian of this mountainside. Do I have to defeat you to be able to set foot on the peak? Jian Wushuang asked. Yes, if you want to continue to go up. You have to pass the level of the old man, but the old man is different from the man at the foot of the mountain. You, the ruler, can pass easily as long as you have the first level and higher level master, even if it is the top master in the first level and elementary level. There is a good chance that he will pass his level, but in the old man's case, the general higher master's combat power can't get through. Laughed. The juniors will try their best. Jian Wushuang said, Okay, eat this bowl of tea first. The old man with white beard and white robe waved his hand, and immediately appeared 2 bowls of tea on the pour case in front of him. The old man with white beard and white robe handed one of the bowls to the front of the sword without double sides. Emperor Jiutian. Chapter 3775. With the encounter at the foot of the mountain, now seeing the old man with white beard and white robes taking out tea, Jian Wushuang will not be surprised at all. Without hesitation, Jian Wushuang picked up a bowl of tea on the case and ate it. Tea ate into his stomach. Jian Wushuang's brow frowned. Unlike the tea taken by the man in black at the foot of the mountain, the tea of the man in black is quite bitter, but it has a flavor, and it is warm in the belly. But this white beard, white robe, the tea the old man brought out was extremely unpalatable. Why, it's hard to drink, right? The old man with white beard and white robe looked at it. No way, the old man is not good at making tea, but the effect of this tea is still the same, and it will bring you into a space of consciousness. You fight with your husband in the space of consciousness. After the old man with white beard and white robe said, he ate the bowl of tea in front of himself. Soon the effect of tea came into play, and the consciousness of the 2 men, Jian Wushuang and Bai Su Bai Pao, had already entered a special conscious space. This is no longer the vast expanse of the sea before, but the middle of a barren mountain range, with bare mountains all around and underneath. The sun is baking, and the air is a little hot. The old man with white beard and white robe stood in the void, different from the outside world. When the old man with white beard and white robe came to this consciousness space, he changed into a person and was full of monstrous breath. This breath is violent, hot like flames. Little guy, pick up. The old man with white beard and white robe did not have any nonsense. In this conscious space, he shot directly. He didn't use any weapons. He simply relied on his palms turned red, as if he had just been burned by the fire. Volcano collapse. With a loud drink, the old man with white beard and white robe slaps directly and shoots fiercely. In a short time, there were a lot of red air waves rolling out. These red air waves gathered in a frenzy, and they suddenly gathered into a towering mountain. This mountain is entangled with fire, burning everything in the world. Boom! The terrible flame mountain descended from the sky, and the delicate sword came without pressure. Ha ha! A burst of harsh and violent wind came from him. The wind was so huge that it was so difficult for Jian's eyes to open. He could barely raise his head and looked at the endless mountains above. The power of that mountain is earth-shattering. Higher dominates the power, and this move is strong. Jian Wushuang's heart has an approximate strength to the old man with white beard and white robe. Like the man in black at the foot of the mountain, it is just the power of the primary dominator, but the marksmanship is superb and extremely powerful. And the old man with white beard and white robe, the power that erupted was definitely higher level dominance, and the means by which he exerted, that the horrific waves of horrible mountains that were crushed by the towering mountains were just rolling the state of mind is fluttering, and these methods are no worse than that of the man in black, perceived the mighty power of the majestic mountains. Jian Wushuang's strength will no longer be retained. The magic of life, the sky-cutting technique, and the willpower given by the laws of the universe are directly exerted at this moment. Break me! With a low roar, the sword with no hands in Huangquan's Excalibur broke out instantly. Starfire Burning Day. Wow! A fierce and direct sword light, with unprecedented violent momentum and momentum like a bamboo shoot, rushed out. Fight with violence. The same fury, the same power. In a blink of an eye, this fierce sword light collided with the towering mountains that fell from the sky. Huh! A loud noise roared the world. The majestic mountains that were so high were actually split directly by the fierce sword light. One sword splits the mountain, and the split is still the magnificent mountain of flames formed by the old man with white beard and white robes completely condensed by divine power. Voila! I saw a large amount of mighty energy rushing in all directions, and the whole world was burning in a large area of flames. Oh! When the old man with white beard and white robe saw a towering volcano being split directly, his eyes lit up. Being able to split the old man's volcano directly is the first one. You little kid is really capable, but the old man's volcano is very serious. The mysterious 9-volcano mystery created by the old man. Although the strength is limited now, the displayed power is only 1,000th that of the mystery, but it is not something ordinary people can resist. Boy, see how many volcanoes you can block the old man. As soon as the voice fell, I saw that the old man with white beard and white robes was surging wildly. The sky was filled with red air waves, one after another standing tall volcanoes taller than before. These volcanoes took shape, and each volcano contained more power and oppression than the previous one. Volcano extinction. The old man with white beard and white robe roared. The volcanoes that had already formed were suddenly crushed away by a crazy sword that followed one another. The terrible power oppressed everything in the heavens and the earth. At this moment, under the feet of Jian Wu, the terrible power of the volcano above it couldn't withstand the terrible power of the volcanoes above it. Extinction breath. In the blink of an eye, the second volcano has arrived. And after the second volcano, followed by the third and fourth. As for the fifth block, it is in the process of cohesion. Is it 9 volcanoes? There was a shock in Jian Wu's eyes, but more was excitement. Bring it on. Jian Wushuang was not afraid, and his divine power burst out to the extreme. He knew that the volcanoes contained earth-shattering power, but he didn't mean to retreat, but instead stood up to the volcanoes and greeted them directly. Go up. Then, boom. The dreaded sword light suddenly lights up. Huh, 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 huh. Only a loud bang was heard, and the second volcano was smashed directly by Jian Guang. Then came the third and fourth blocks. Even if it continues to condense, the fifth and sixth volcanoes with stronger power can't withstand the amazing power of Sword Wushuangjian. Huh, it was another loud noise. The seventh volcano was also split open by Jian Wushuang. The scene in front of him made the old man with white beard and white robes startled with astonishment, but followed him with a big laugh. Ha! Good boy. The old man has been in this star field for several times of chaos. There are 3 in total. The master of the rule came to the old man, and they also suffered the old man's 9-fold volcanic mystery. As a result, the weakest of the 3 failed to carry the second heavy volcano, and even the strongest was only just he carried the 5th heavy volcano, and he could not resist the 6th heavy volcano. And you have carried the 7th volcano. Chapter 3776. Being able to carry the old man's 7th heavy volcano. You are stronger than any ruler who came here before, but the old man's 9 heavy volcano mystic technique, although it is stronger than strong, starts from the 8th. It is qualitative transformation. Boy, see if you can still block the old man's 8th heavy volcano. the old man with white beard and white robe will laugh. And above that void, the eighth towering volcano has condensed. This volcano, in terms of volume alone, is much larger than the previous sevenfold volcano, and the power of volcano condensation is even more shocking. Woohoo! As the volcano slowly descended, the terrible wind was crushed down, and Jian Wushuang felt only a roar of his ears. This power is indeed much stronger than the 7 heavy volcanoes before. Jian Wushuang nodded secretly, but was not afraid. At the moment when the towering volcano came down, he suddenly burst out. Wow! A sword light suddenly lit, cold and ruthless, as if to tear all obstacles ahead. And in Jianguang, there was a hint of the law of the universe, and it collided with the volcano front that came slowly. Huh! A terrible roar shook the earth, and a large number of majestic powers madly scattered around. The 8th volcano condensed by the old man with white beard and white robe has collapsed and completely collapsed, but the cold and relentless dreadful sword light also slowly dissipated. The 8th heavy volcano was still countered by Jian Wushuang's front. The breath of the laws of the universe. The old man with white beard and white robe was shocked, and naturally he could see the breath of the laws of the universe contained in the sword that Wushuang just had. A ruler of all kinds was able to grasp the breath of the laws of the universe, which naturally surprised him. But the old man with white beard and white robe laughed again. Boy, you are very good. Look at the husband's 9th heavy volcano. The majestic air flow gathered frantically, and the horrific power condensed in the sky above. In the blink of an eye, the 9th volcano had already formed. The volume of this volcano is not much stronger than that of the 8th volcano, but the power gathered in the volcano and the extinct atmosphere are much larger than the 8th heavy volcano. When this volcano was completely condensed, at that moment, the vast world was silent for a short time. This power is afraid that it is infinitely close to the top master. Jian Wu's eyes and pupils also shrank sharply. The 9th volcano condensed by the old man with white beard and white robe brought great pressure to him. At this juncture, Jian Wushuang no longer hid and pinched and saw his body suddenly startled, and a sound of dragons rang out suddenly in the earth, and the earth. This dragons was filled with monstrous resentment, and immediately became a pound. The evil spirits rushed out of the Wujin demon armor, directly covering Jian Wushuang's whole body. Wujin demon armor has the 2nd largest power, 30% of the power of demon dragons, and Jian Wushuang's strength has instantly increased to a level. You volcano, I'm tired of seeing it, let it go. The sword Wushuang spoke softly, and the Huangquan Excalibur in his hand was cut straight. The same fell into Huangquan. It is also cold and ruthless, as if it can tear away all the terrible sword lights in front of it. The difference is that the power that the sword Wushuang just blasted out at the moment is just the ultimate limit of higher masters, but now with the blessing of 30% of the dragon spirit, his power has barely reached the threshold of top masters. The top-level dominating level of mighty powers is falling into Huangquan. Of course, mighty powers are far from being able to compare. Wow! The cold and relentless sword light passed directly through the middle of the towering volcano. The 9th heavy volcano, just gathered by the old man with white beard and white robe, has not yet completely landed, and has been cut directly from this sword light by Jian Wushuang. The power of the sword light is unabated, and he continues to move toward white beard, the old man beheaded. The old man with white beard and white robe changed his face, and was shocked by Jianguang. His figure shivered, and immediately receded to the rear, looking rather embarrassed. "Senior, let it go," Jian Wushuang said with a smile. "Top-level combat power." The old man with white beard and white robe frowned. looking at Jian Wushuang diligently. In the dialogue between the two of them, their consciousness has slowly separated from this conscious space. On the peak of the mountain, in the hut on the mountainside, Jian Wushuang and the old man with white beard and white robe sitting on the futon open their eyes at the same time. "Your boy, you have the top-level combat power?" The old man with white beard and white robe looked up at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang just smiled slightly. "Yes." The old man with white beard and white robe nodded his head in appreciation. The Red Cloud Realm has already had several chaos periods in this star field. In such a long time, I don't know how many rulers and masters come here break through, but before you, whether it is the ruler or the master, no one can pass by the old man. You are the first. The junior is just lucky. Jian Wushuang said modestly. A ruler has the top-level combat power, which is also luck. The old man with white beard and white robe gave the sword a pair of white swords, followed him, and said, "But don't be too proud, although you have passed, old man. But if you want to really set foot on the top of this peak, it is still not that easy." "Senior, do you mean that there are other gatekeepers on this peak?" Jian Wushuang asked with a frown. "Yes." The old man with white beard and white robe nodded. "Is it at the peak?" Jian Wushuang asked. "It seems you have guessed." The old man with white beard and white robe just smiled. Jian Wushuang was silent. "At the beginning, I learned from the Xian Shinto people that this stepping Tianfeng, and knowing that there are two tests on the foot of the mountain and the mountainside at that time, he was already thinking on the peak of Tianfeng, is there a third test? But no one can answer this question for him. After all, no one in this star field has been able to pass this level on the mountainside. Naturally, no one is qualified to go to the peak. Is there a third test on the peak? No one knows. But now, he was finally the first to pass the mountainside test. The old man with white beard and white robe told him the third test on the peak. "Senior, is the test on the peak the same as the foot of the mountain and the mountainside? To beat the guards?" Jian Wushuang asked. "Well, the old man can't tell you." The old man with white beard and white robe shook his head. "But the old man can tell you that the test on the top of the mountain is the last test in the first heavy day of the Red Cloud Realm. You only need to pass the top of the mountain. Test, you can go to the second day of the Red Cloud world. And at the same time, you can get some unexpected benefits." "Oh." Jian Wushuang looked and nodded. "Thank you for telling me." Emperor Jiutian. Chapter 3777. After learning from the old man with white beard and white robes that the peak had a third test, Jian Wushuang did not stay much but walked down the steps and continued to the peak. Along the way, Jian Wushuang's heart was quite heavy. Before, he never really came to climb Tianfeng. He still had great confidence in his strength. Even after passing the test at the foot of the mountain, he is still confident and believes that with his own strength, the test in Tianfeng should not be difficult for him. But after the test of the mountainside, that is, after fighting the old man with white beard and white robe, he was not so confident. When fighting against the old man with white beard and white robe, he really went all out to show his many means to defeat the opponent. The strength of the old man with white beard and white robes exposed in that conscious space is definitely the most extreme level of higher domination. Like he was in the Red Cloud Realm before, he encountered the evil demon who claimed to be the first of the higher masters of this star domain. The evil demon's strength is definitely not as good as the old man with white beard and white robe. The strength of the old man with white beard and white robe also illustrates a problem. The test at the foot of the mountain. The strength of the man in black is the most extreme of the primary master. At the mountainside, the old man with white beard and white robe is the most extreme of the higher master. If it follows this trend, will the test of the peak be the ultimate of the top dominator, top master. Even if he uses all whole cards, his combat power will barely reach the threshold of top master. If the guard on the peak really has the ultimate power of top master, he wants to defeat the opponent. It's different from dreaming. I can only take one step, and one step, I hope that the test of the peak will not be so outrageous. Jian Wushuang can only secretly sigh. After successively crossing tens of thousands of steps, Jian Wushuang finally reached the top of this stepping Tianfeng. But just dozens of steps away from the peak of Tiantian Peak, Jian Wushuang saw a snow-white figure lying there halfway. This snow-white figure, covered with snow-white hair, is tall, and its face is like the face of an ape-man. Obviously, this snow-white figure is not a human practitioner, but a special ethnic group from the universe. Is it the gatekeeper of this peak? Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. In his perception, the snow-white ape-man also didn't emit a slight breath. He lay on you, motionless, and seemed to be asleep. Even though he was close, the snow-white ape-man didn't react at all. Jian Wushuang walked in front of the snow-white ape-man and saw that the snow-white ape-man still had his eyes closed and did not mean to open, and he could not help but embarrassed and said, "This senior." "Okay." Hearing Jian Wushuang's voice, the snow-white ape-man finally reacted. I saw that his body turned slightly, his eyes slowly opened, and a pair of weird blue pupils instantly locked Jian Wushuang. Human practitioner? The snow-white ape-man stared at Jian Wushuang, firstly in a panic but followed with great joy, and his figure jumped up immediately. Ha ha! Human cultivation. For so many years, finally human cultivation has come here. Hey, three-eyed, which, Stone, the two of you haven't hurried down yet. A human practitioner has come here. The laughter of the snow-white ape-man echoed. Suddenly 2 streams of light rushed from the top steps and appeared on the side of the snow-white ape-man. The streamers dissipated, and 2 figures appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. One of the 2 who came was a woman with a beautiful figure, a beautiful appearance, and an extremely charming woman. Most of this charming woman was the same as a human woman. The only difference was that she had an eyebrow, strange eyes glowing with pupils. She has a third eye and still looks up. As for the other person, it is a stone man whose body is more than 5 meters in length and whose body is completely stacked with special rocks. This stone man has no nose, no ears, only a mouth and a pair of recessed eyes. Seeing the 2 men, Jian Wushuang was startled. The snow-white ape-man, the 3-eyed seductive woman, the 5-meter-tall stone man, all 3 are obviously from special groups in the universe, all of which are extraordinary. Jian Wushuang thought that the guardian of this peak was only one person at the foot of the mountain and the mountainside, but he did not expect to be 3 people. As for how strong these 3 will be, Jian Wushuang cannot predict. Giggle, it really is a human practitioner. The 3-eyed enchanting woman's 3 eyes were flashing with strange light and stared at Jian Wushuang. It's been a long time. I haven't seen a human practitioner. Since the loss of the Red Cloud realm, I am afraid that there are hundreds of chaos ages. Well, I wanted to wander through the universe. My favorite is to eat the meat of these human practitioners. The stronger the strength, the better the meat will be. Unfortunately, I was caught and sent to this Red Cloud world. I have never tasted the taste of a human practitioner again. Snow-White Ape-Man also stared at Jian Wushuang, his mouth slightly open, and there was even a hint of greed in his eyes. You are not ignorant of the rules in the Red Cloud realm. This human cultivator came here just to break through the barriers. The 2 of you cannot move other minds. The 5-meter-high stone man is more realistic. He issued his voice is extremely heavy. Rest assured, we know that the rules of the Red Cloud world. We dare not violate it. The three-eyed demon woman smiled. Unfortunately, if this is outside, I can eat him, but here is the red cloud world. Snow White Ape Man also showed regret. When hearing these three people talking to each other, Jian Wushuang couldn't help but feel tight, especially when he heard the White Ape Man say that he likes to eat human flesh. His complexion changed. These three men were jealous of the rules in the Red Cloud realm and did not dare to mess around, which made Jian Wushuang relieved. 3. Are all the gatekeepers at this peak? Jian Wushuang looked at the three in front of him. Yes, the three-eyed demon-charmed woman said. A ruler can come here, it is very good, but the peak is guarded by me 3. You want to go to the second day. Then I had to pass the 3 of me, but the level that the 3 of us defended was not something that anyone could just break through. Little guy, you are just the ruler. Then the 3 of me will naturally restrain the power. But even so, those top-level masters who want to break through the 3 of me are not so easy. Would you like to try it? Snow White Ape Man Chow, so Wuxian hooked his fingers. Emperor Jiutian. Chapter 3778. 3. Let me challenge. Jian Wushuang looked at the 3 men calmly. Ha! That's right. I'm also worried that if you look at the 3 of us, you'll be so scared that you don't dare to shoot. Snow White Ape Man smiled strangely. The three-eyed demon woman waved her hand. Eat this cup of tea. Looking at the tea that the three-eyed demon woman took out, a scent of fragrance suddenly burst out. As soon as Jian Wushuang looked, he took the tea and ate it. Suddenly Jian Wushuang felt that there was a roar in his mind, and his whole body and mind were relaxed, and his inner throb was completely calmed down. This tea. Jian Wushuang appeared in astonishment. This is the Qingxin tea planted by the three-eyed witch herself. It has the effect of meditation and meditation. If put into the universe, it has a certain value, which is not something ordinary people can eat. The Snow White Ape Man smiled. The three-eyed witch turned out, take out this tea to entertain you. Your kid is blessed. Jian Wushuang smiled dumbly, but his consciousness had been dragged. Buzzing. The world is changing. Jian Wushuang has appeared in a conscious space. Here, in the middle of a vast mountain range. This mountain range is very desolate, with boulder and bald peaks everywhere. The three-eyed demon woman, the Snow White Ape Man, and the 5-meter-high stone man also appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. Little guy, we're going to take a shot. You be careful. The three-eyed demon woman reminded. Sword Wushuang looked dignified. Huang Quan's Excalibur had appeared in his hands. Although he could not see the truth of the 3 men in front of him, but from the test of the foot of the mountain and the mountainside, he could see that the strength of the 3 men was certainly no small matter. 3, come on, Jian Wushuang said loudly. Yes, it's calm. The three-eyed demon woman smiled slightly, but the white ape man beside her had already shot directly. I saw the Snow White Ape Man's body more than 2 meters high-jumped. Jian Wushuang only saw a snow-white figure between heaven and earth suddenly flashed. Boom! The terrible gas explosion sounded suddenly. An inexplicable chill swept across suddenly. Jian Wushuang opened his eyes wide but saw the void around him, and he did not know when a large swath of snowflakes had drifted. Snowflakes flew, and a huge snow-white fist had reached him. So fast, Jian Wushuang showed surprise, and this power, the top dominating combat power. As soon as the Snow White Ape Man fired, let alone the mood of his rolled-up mood, the power contained in this fist alone made the sword unparalleled. The power contained in this fist is undoubtedly the top dominating level. Humph! With a cold hum, Jian Wushuang's power instantly burst to the extreme. The magical power of life, the sky-cutting technique, and even the second power of Wujing demon armor burst out instantly. When he shot, swordsman went all out. No way. Facing the top dominating powerhouse, he is only qualified to deal with it with all his strength. Wow! A dazzling sword light, with an endless resentment, hit the huge snow fist instantly. Clang! The sound of a metal-like impact sounded, and Sword's double-body shape shook slightly, but it was a few steps back, and the figure of the snow-white ape man also paused in the void, taking a step back slightly. Oh, I was able to block my punch in the front. That's good. Snow White Ape Man smiled. Jian Wushuang's heart is extremely heavy. He has exerted all his powers, but he can still collide head-on. There is no other way. His combat power is just enough to reach the threshold of top dominance, and this Snow White Ape Man's instant burst of strength is definitely at the top dominate level. It is normal for Jian Wushuang to be at a disadvantage when the two confrontation. Boy, you and I will come again. The Snow White Ape grinned, exposing his white teeth, and his figure moved again. Wow, 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 wow. This Snow White Ape Man is extremely fast, his body moves, and only white ghosts can be seen flickering in the void. The fist of the Snow White Ape Man has already come from the outrageous Chao Jian Wushuang. This speed. Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth, and the huge black wings behind him stretched out. Xian Guang Tianyi Xuanguang Phantom Body Act also immediately unfolded. Huh, 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 huh. I saw ghostly figures bursting out at the same time, moving closer and closer again, and again, making the sword unparalleled figure also become illusory. Under this crazy change of body shape, Jian Wushuang and Snow White Ape Man also began to confront each other constantly. Huh, 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 huh. A deep crash sounded one after another. Jian Wushuang and the Snow White Ape Man have been fighting wildly together. And it didn't take long for Jian Wushuang to use the field-based methods, but even so, he still couldn't get a slight advantage in the fierce battle. With the war, Jian Wushuang's heart became heavier and heavier. The speed of this Snow White Ape Man is too fast, and my body style is very strange. Although I have Xuanguang Puppet Skywing, I use Xuanguang Phantom and other physical styles that can be moved close together, plus the suppression of the field, but I am in speed and body on the move. He still only has a slight advantage, but his power is stronger than mine. This gap in power can completely make my advantage over the body disappear. Jian Wushuang frowned. He has now basically implemented all the means. But despite this, he was still just as good as the Snow White Ape Man, and even the Snow White Ape Man might have no means to show it. In other words, even if it is 1-to-1, he can't beat the Snow White Ape Man now. But the test of this peak, but 1-to-3, the three-eyed demon woman and the 5-meter-high stone man stood by him from the beginning to the end. Just one person gave him so much pressure if the three of them shot at the same time. Giggle, the white ape, the genius of your Grand Emperor, ape. Why can't even a little guy who rules the rule is too shameful, right? The three-eyed demon charmed woman teased. The Snow White Ape Man in the midst of a fierce battle heard these words, and his eyes immediately burst into anger. You two don't stand and talk without back pain. You don't know how big I am in this red cloud world. Not to mention the strength of cultivation, even the mastery of secret learning cannot exert any power. Otherwise, why would I not help this guy? This Snow White Ape Man is also very aggrieved. Just like the two gatekeepers at the foot of the mountain and the mountainside, the three of them at the top of the mountain were also subject to great restraints, and they were afraid that their strength would not be able to reach even 1/10,000th. Otherwise, the rule master like Jian Wushuang, in their eyes, is no different from the ants. Chapter 3779, Nothing but sophistry. The three-eyed demon woman chuckled. Do NT bother you? Let us do it together. Do NT forget that we do NT have much time. If we really let this boy run through us, then we will really laugh at the big teeth. Snow White Ape Man yelled. Hearing the words of the Snow White Ape Man, the three-eyed fascinating woman, and the 5-meter-high stone man looked dignified. "Stone, go ahead," said the three-eyed seductive woman. "Well, you cooperate with me." The 5-meter-high stone man nodded. Boom. The void shuddered, and the entire earth was shaking wildly at this moment. On the desolate mountains, large boulder suddenly floated up. These boulders are densely packed, with the 5-meter-high stone man as the core, and a huge rocky ocean was formed in no time. This stone man, which was originally only 5 meters high, was soaring in volume at this moment, directly skyrocketing to nearly 100 feet. The nearly 100-foot tall stone man exuded torrential weather, and there were 2 airflows in the recessed eyes. I saw the 100-foot tall stone man stretched out his 2 stout arms and directly held up a huge stone next to it, then raised it high. That boulder is comparable to an ordinary mountain, for fear of tens of billions of pounds, but the stone man's hands are raised, as if holding a ball of cotton. Suddenly, the 5-meter-high stone man gave a loud drink. This tens of billions of kilograms, a mountain-sized megalith turned into a shooting star, burst into lightning flashes toward the sword. What? Jian Wushuang dumbfounded. He had thought what an incredible offensive the stone man would do, but he did not expect his attack to be so simple. Just hold a boulder and smash it directly at you. Even though the boulder burst out at an extremely fast speed, it was comparable to a shooting star. But with sword unparalleled strength, it is very easy to avoid such a huge boulder. Such an attack could not cause any danger to him. At least Jian Wushuang thinks so. But just when Jian Wushuang was preparing to move, avoiding the megalithic bombardment, the 3-eyed enchanting woman standing next to Baizhang Takaishi was a weird smile. At the center of her eyebrow, a dazzling purple light suddenly flashed in the third eye that stood upright. This purple light is extremely enchanting, and the enchantment is like a huge purple sun, and Jian Wushuang was attracted for the first time. What is this? The sword was unsurprising, but immediately he was horrified to find that under the purple light, his consciousness was a sharp pain, which made him completely unable to control himself during this time god body. His body just stopped there, motionless. The boulder, which was looting like a meteor, directly hit his body. Hundreds of billions of pounds of megaliths hit, at a speed comparable to that of a meteor. The impact of the stars at this moment was incredible. At least this impact will not be weaker than the average top master, even stronger than the general top master's full blow. With such an overwhelming attack, Jian Wushuang was bombarded stiffly without any defense. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang has the armor of Wujin Demon Dragon armor, which weakened this impact by more than 90% for the first time, and the remaining power acts on his body. His supreme indestructible mystery is comparable to the ordinary elementary universe treasure, but the remaining part of the impact is completely enough to crush the ordinary elementary universe treasure. Jian Wu's body was shocked, and a large mouthful of blood spewed out from his mouth. Under this impact, his body directly lost more than 40%. It's terrible. I obviously have the armor of Wujin Demon armor, and I've cultivated the supreme immortal Xian body. The body is comparable to the ordinary elementary treasure. However, this level of attack still makes him destructive and loses more than 40%. There was a touch of shock in Jian Wu's eyes. Although only the divine body was lost, he could immediately repair it with divine power. But do NT forget, the more domineering the body is, the more divine power is needed to repair it. Jian Wushuang, which is comparable to the elementary universe treasure. If you change to the rule of the general rule, I am afraid that even if it consumes all the divine power, there is no way to completely repair over 40% of the deities. However, after all, Jian Wushuang is the perfect life. He has a vast amount of divine power than the master, repairing more than 40% of the gods. Jian Wushuang consumes only 3% of the gods. One attack consumes 3% of my body. If such an attack comes dozens of times, I can't resist it. The sword has no double-sided color, which is a bit ugly. The attack by the Baizhanghai Stoneman is very strong, and the attack power of the Snow White Ape Man is much stronger. There is no doubt about this. But Jian Wushuang didn't care about the Stone Man. He cared about the three-eyed demon woman next to the Stone Man. He was very clear that the attack of the Stone Man could just be easily avoided, but it was because the means of the three-eyed demon woman had let him lose control of his own body in that extremely short time. Stroke, the three-eyed enchanting woman's method, was the real threat to him. What happened just now? Jian Wu's eyes were cold, and he didn't even know how he did it. He only saw the third-eyed demon woman's third eye opened and burst into purple light, and then his consciousness was an unprecedented pain. Master, Master, a voice suddenly sounded in Giant Shuang's heart. Well, Demon Flame? Jian Wu's eyes narrowed. Demon Flame, although his soul is inside the Scarlet Gourd, he is aware of what is happening outside, and he can also communicate with the sword unparalleled consciousness at any time. Master, that woman, no accident, should be a tribe of the Triad demons in the universe. This Triad tribe is a very famous and special tribe in the universe. There is an innate advantage that is the third eye at the center of their eyebrows. The third eye can release a beam of different colors. The beam is sufficient to affect the consciousness of the practitioner. The Master's consciousness was just affected by her. Law escaped the attack of the Stone Man. Demon Flame said, "A special means that directly affects consciousness." Jian Wu's eyes narrowed. Consciousness rules the body, as does the soul. It can even be said that a person's soul is derived from consciousness. In the universe, many attacks on the soul, such as some special illusions and illusions, are actually attacks on the consciousness. It's just that those attacks will first be blocked by the power of the opponent's soul. However, the special attack methods of the three-eyed demon are obviously different. Emperor Jiutian, Chapter 3780, the means by which the three-eyed demon woman cast out completely ignored the resistance of my soul and directly affected my consciousness. My consciousness was stinging, and I could not temporarily control the body, but my soul was good. Nothing. Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth. The usual consciousness attack, he didn't care. After all, he must first pass through this level of his soul, and as a perfect life, he is invincible in terms of soul. But this three-eyed demon woman's attack method, but his soul can't stop it, only by his own consciousness to bear. And he couldn't resist his consciousness. Then he had no way to face the attack of the Stone Man, and the Snow White Ape Man, Giggle, it actually blocked the attack of the stone by the divine body. And it seems that the loss of divine power is not great. A little guy at the master level of the rule has a little skill. The three-eyed demon woman smiled strangely, followed her but glanced at the 100-foot-tall Stone Man next to him. "Stone, go on, don't have mercy. Anyway, in the space of consciousness, he can't die." "Okay." The Baizhanghai Stone Man just nodded silently, but then raised a huge stone again and smashed into the sword Wushuang's anger. Boom! The stone pierced the void like a meteor, and that terrible wind ripped through the void. And at the moment when the stoneman shot, the third eye of the three-eyed seductive woman was dazzling with purple light again. "Come back!" The sword sank and closed his eyes for the first time. He thought that the three-eyed seductive woman's means depended on the purple light in his eyes. As long as he closed his eyes and did not see the purple light, he would not be affected by the purple light. In fact, after the purple light was illuminated, regardless of whether Jian Wushuang saw it, it would shine on him for the first time. Then the same scene appeared, and Jian Wushuang's consciousness caused severe pain, and he temporarily lost control of the divine body, and his figure was squatting there again. Then, the meteor-like boulder smashed fiercely. After the boulder, the snow flakes from the sky, and the fist of the snow-white ape-man also blasted towards the sword, unparalleled. Huh! Jian Wushuang couldn't stop it at the same time, and underwent the terrible attack of two top masters at the same time. The body was hit again, blood spurted from his mouth, and the armor was red. Master, the special attack method of the three-eyed demon tribe is very weird. Whether you see it with your eyes or not, you will be recruited. There is only one way to resist such means, which is to rely on your absolute arrogance and master your consciousness. Obviously can't stop the attack of the three-eyed demon's woman. The voice of the magic flame sounded again. It's unstoppable. The sword sank without two sides. His consciousness is actually very persevering. After all, he was a man of two lives, and after experiencing not knowing how many lives and deaths and wind and rain, ordinary conscious attacks can be ignored. But the three-eyed demon woman has a powerful strength. Even if it is not supreme, I am afraid it is also the terrible master, the 4th and 5th series. Even if she is in the Red Cloud realm, as a guardian of the Tianfeng Peak, this kind of consciousness method can't play 1/10,000th. But her conscious attack can also affect the general top masters, even though Jian Wushuang's consciousness domineering. But compared to the top dominate, there is still a little gap. So he couldn't stop it. I can't stop the conscious attack of the three-eyed demon woman. Then I can only be reduced to a living target, let alone exert any means. Even if the figure wants to move in the slightest, it will be extremely difficult. At most dozens of attacks, my divine power will be exhausted, and then I will lose. Jian Wushuang frowned. Suddenly Jian Shuang's expression moved. Demon flame, will your swallowing gold body have a certain blessing to consciousness? Yes. Moyan nodded. Although my gold-swallowing body is only in the shaping stage, the blessing on the master can greatly improve the master in all aspects, not only in strength but also in consciousness. It can also improve a lot, but the duration will not be too long. But the master, even if you summon the gold-swallowing deities, and after blessing, you can resist the conscious attack of the three-eyed demon woman, but you can't defeat them either. Pass the test. Although the demon flame stayed in the scarlet gourd, he could see that all three of them were top dominating combatants, and Jian Wushuang had no advantage over any of them. 1-3, even being able to block the conscious attack of the three-eyed demon woman will be completely suppressed by these three. As for trying to defeat these three people, it is simply impossible. At least the current sword Wushuang absolutely can't do it. Hearing the words of the demon flame, Jian Wushuang shook his head. No, as long as I can block the conscious attack of the three-eyed demon woman, even if I still cannot defeat the three of them, I may not be able to pass the retest. Moyan stunned. If I remember correctly, the snow-white ape-man said to the three-eyed demon woman and the stone man that their time is not much. Jian Wu's eyes narrowed slightly. Previously, he and the snow-white ape-man slaughtered one-on-one. The three-eyed demon woman and the stone man were watching the movie next to him. Even the three-eyed demon woman was still mocking the snow-white ape-man. This made snow-white ape-men furious. And later they said they wanted to do it immediately, saying that they didn't have much time. This snow-white ape-man might just be a word that was unintentional at the time. Most people wouldn't care, but Jian Wushuang heard it, and he cares. Not only that, because of this sentence, Jian Wushuang also made a lot of guesses out of thin air. Yes, the tests at the foot of the mountain and the mountainside all require me to defeat the gatekeepers, but the test at the peak is obviously different. The test of this peak, there are 3 gatekeepers, and these 3 gatekeepers, one is very fast, the other is extremely powerful, and the last one is 3. The Eye Demon tribe has a unique conscious attack. All three have the top dominating combat power. Together, even the top dominate of the first level cannot defeat the three of them. But the ruler of the district, if you also need to defeat all three in front of you, it would be too incredible. And the Snow White Ape Man, he said that their time is not enough. That is, the test of the peak may not be that I want to defeat all three guards, but that I will be among them, in the hands of a certain time, will not be killed by the three of them. The strange light flashed in the sword's eyes. The more he thought about it, the more likely it was. Chapter 3781. First of all, he is only a master of rules. This stepping Tianfeng is also a master-level test of the rules for his realm, and the ruler against the sky asked him to defeat the three top masters, and they are also three top masters who are good at speed, power, and special consciousness attack, which is still incredible. Not to mention in this star field, even the entire vast universe, I am afraid that few rulers can do it. Although the Red Cloud world has an extraordinary origin, it is only the first test, and the requirements should not be so outrageous. In addition, what the Snow White Ape Man just said also leaked some information, making Jian Wushuang think that the test of the peak is different from the test of the foot of the mountain and the mountainside. Every time you summon the demon flame, you need to swallow a large number of special crystals to recover. If this test does not give me a chance to pass, there is naturally no need to summon it, but now that there is a chance, then try it. Jianwu's eyes were cold. There was already a decision in his heart. Immediately he slaps. A blood-colored gourd appears in his hand, and he opens the blood-colored gourd stopper. Suddenly, a suffocating and mighty might suddenly burst out from the gourd. It was a dark flame, and the flame was cold enough to tremble the master. It burst out from the blood-colored gourd, and the emptiness of the Red Cloud world seemed to be unable to bear the power of this black flame, and it collapsed directly. Then, a large block of black flames jumped frantically directly toward the sword. Wushuang burst out. In a blink of an eye, Jian Wushuang's whole body was wrapped in that monstrous black flame, and his body skyrocketed. At the same time, the breath emanating from him was instantly elevated to a whole new level. Demon Flame's swallowing gold body can also be said to be Demon Flame's body. Jian Wushuang saw Hitomi once before, but now he summons it himself. With the blessing of swallowing the gold body, Jian Wushuang immediately felt a leap in his strength. This improvement was not only in terms of strength, but also the soul and consciousness were greatly blessed. Okay. The three-eyed demon woman, the Baizhang Tall Stone Man, and the Snow White Ape Man all noticed the change in sword unparalleled. It seems that a relatively powerful secret technique has been applied, but it is useless. As long as you are not strong enough to stop my attack, you can only become the target of the stone and the ape man. There is no possibility of struggling. The three-eyed demon woman smiled slightly, and in her third eye, the dazzling purple light lit up again. The figure of the 100-foot-tall stone was shocked, and the horror was soaring. He once again lifted the huge stone toward the sword, and Wushuang smashed into it. The Snow White Ape Man also issued his own horror speed, and only when the sword Wushuang consciousness could not control the body, he immediately shot. Purple light shines on Jian Wushuang. In a short time, that strong conscious stinging reappeared. Jian Wushuang still gritted his teeth, but this time the pain returned, but his consciousness did not leave the control of the divine body. Here it is. Jian Wushuang rejoiced in his heart, and his eyes were staring at the boulder like a shooting star. Next moment, Guardian of the Earth. The sword is unparalleled. Huang Quan's Excalibur seems to be just cut out randomly, but it has a special mystery. Buzzing. A large number of swords. Meanwhile, with a large amount of earth-colored energy, it rises instantly with a thick and nostalgic rule of the earth and cooperates with Jian Wushuang's accomplishments on the kendo, heavy earthy, yellow earth sword field. And after the emergence of a major sword area, the second and third major sword areas condensed immediately. Almost instantly, the sword has condensed a full 13 major sword areas. Yes, it's 13. At the beginning of the enlightenment under the sword stone, he perfected the earth guard as much as possible to the 12 sword area. The guardian of the earth in the 12 sword realms had previously resisted the strongest hit of his holiness. It has been more than 2,000 years since the Honorable Lord Qing met, and he has been wandering in the Red Cloud realm for more than 2,000 years. He has battled with the strong, and has a certain degree of understanding of swordsmanship and the rules of the earth. Ascension, then the 12 sword realms increased one more level, and now he can simultaneously perform the Earth Guardian of the 13 sword realms. Naturally, the defense of this Earth Guard is even better than before. Like a meteor-like boulder, it contains horrific power impacting on these 13 major sword areas. Almost instantaneously, the 13th major sword domain was crushed to ninefold, and at the beginning of the 10th heavy, the speed became slower, but the 10th heavy sword domain was still crushed. Then came the 11th, the 12th. The horrible impact of this boulder is obviously stronger than the full blow of the Supreme Sovereign. The Supreme Sovereign was unable to defeat all of the sword's 12 heavy sword domains, but the megalith did it. But the boulder just defeated the 12 sword realm, but still failed to defeat the 13th sword realm. In other words, the boulder smashed by the fiercely tall man, the horrible power contained in it, was perfectly guarded by the sword unmatched earth. Although the fist of the snow white ape man arrived later, the power of this fist was obviously not as good as that of the boulder, and Jian Wushuang was relatively easy to deal with it. Boom, boom. After two loud sounds, although Jian Wushuang's figure has been repelled by bombardment, but this time he has not been as damaging as before, and the consumption of divine power is not much. He unexpectedly resisted the attack of my consciousness. The three-eyed demon woman's look finally changed. My attack didn't break his body sword. The stone man, Bai Zhonggao, was also full of shock. Really? Jian Wushuang, who regained his body shape, has a cold smile on his face. As long as I can resist the conscious attack of the three-eyed demon woman and be able to manipulate the body to display the earth's protection, the stone man's offensive can't help me. Although the gold swallowing is called for a long time, it consumes the gold swallowing itself. I used the earth's guardianship and consumed a great deal of divine power, but it was much slower than before. If they have no other whole cards or means, this level of engagement, even if they are given an hour, they will not be able to use up all my power. For an hour, he did not think that the three of them would have enough time in front of him and would spend an hour to kill him. Sure enough, after seeing Jian Wushuang so easily resist their offensive, all three were anxious. Chapter 378, Resisted, page 1/1, bookmark for easy reading. Chapter 3782, This kid is not weak and can't waste time with him. The three of them shot with all their strength to kill him. The voice of the three-eyed demon woman was solemn, and the moment the voice fell, the purple light burst from the third eye on her eyebrow became unprecedentedly dazzling, and at the same time, purple of light appeared on her side. Each of the purple light spheres contained extremely strong destructive power, and then smashed successively towards the sword. The flames of the Baizhang tall stone man skyrocketed, and his two towering palms each lifted a huge stone, and at the same time the two huge stones smashed into the sword unparalleled. The snow-white ape-man exploded in anger. Snowflakes fluttered in the sky, and his white fists completely covered the sword unparalleled. The three of them did not take any action anymore, and they have reached the limit of their strengths that can be exerted in this stepping peak. However, Although the three-eyed demon woman's conscious attack is slightly stronger than before, with the blessing of the gold-swallowing body, Jian Wushuang can still resist this attack. Although it was difficult for him to move his body due to the severe pain in his soul, he didn't need to move at all. He just needed to stand there, and then use the sword of Earth Guard to block many offensives in front of him. I saw a horrific array of mighty bombers coming, but they were all resisted by his 13 sword domains. Even under 2 or 3 successive attacks, his 13 sword domains could not be completely blocked, making many the power impacted his body, but because of the blessing of the gold-swallowing body, the strength of his body increased again. The damage of the attacks on the body was weakened, and he could still resist for a long time. As time passed, the 3 gatekeepers became more and more anxious. "No time, I'm doing my best." The three-eyed seductive woman sipped. "No matter how anxious it is useless. Although the 3 of them are powerful in their own right, they have far more methods and techniques than they are now exposed, but on this Tiantian Peak, as the gatekeeper of Tiantian Peak, they only face the master of a rule. Many of their methods cannot be used at all. Now they have reached the limit of what they can do, but they still have nothing to do with Jian Wushuang." Finally, the void shook slightly, and the 3 gatekeepers stopped at the same time. Time is up. Jian Wushuang's consciousness began to break away from this conscious space. Stepping on Tianfeng, approaching the peak, Jian Wushuang's eyes reopened. Upon opening, he found that the three-eyed demon woman, the snow-white ape man, and the 5-meter-high stone man were staring at him. The 3 eyes were weird, shocked, aggrieved, and helpless. They are indeed very helpless. If their strength can be slightly stronger, which will give the sword unparalleled chance. If they can show their peak strength, they only need to breathe a little, and they will be able to kill the sword unparalleled countless times. But precisely because they were in this Tiantian Peak, they had no choice but to watch Jian Wushuang pass the test. 3. Should I pass the test? Jian Wushuang asked with a smile. Yes, it passed. The 3-eyed demon girl nodded. The test of the 3 of us sitting in the town requires that we hold on to the 3 of us for half a quarter of an hour, and you have met the requirements. The sword is unparalleled. Boy, you do have some skills. The snow-white ape man also came over and said, "You are only the master of the rules, and the 3 of me show the combat power in this Tiantian Peak. They are the first level and dominate the level. The 3 men join forces to kill you, but we can hold on for more than half a quarter of an hour in our hands, and even half a quarter of an hour is far from reaching your limit. This alone is enough to prove that you have a bright future. Yes, even in the vast universe, there are definitely not many masters of the rules that can do this in my 3 hands." The 3-eyed demon charmed woman nodded. The 3 of them were caught a long time ago in the Red Cloud realm and have been the gatekeepers on the peak of Tianfeng, although the Red Cloud realm fell later. They did not encounter any outstanding geniuses when they came to this remote star field or the like, but before that, they had a lot of years in the depths of the universe, and there were countless talents who walked away at their level. Only a few of them could pass the 3 of them. Even the tests of many geniuses in the depths of the universe are difficult to pass. Jian Wushuang, the master of the rules from the edge of the star field, can pass, so there is no limit to the future. Well, no bullshit. You have passed the test of the 3 of me. Then, in accordance with the rules of the Red Cloud realm, you can go to the peak of Tianfeng and meet Master Wu. Xue by Ape said. Master Wu? Jian Wushuang's expression moved. What is Master Wu? Master Wu is the steward of the Red Cloud realm, responsible for managing everything in the Red Cloud realm, including the life and death of all living beings in the Red Cloud realm, like the life and death of the 3 of us, also in the thought of Master Wu. So you will see the Fog adults. Please be respectful, and there must be no disrespect. Otherwise the adult may be unhappy and may kill you directly. Xue by Ape Humane. Kill me directly? Jian Wushuang was startled. I have passed the test of stepping on the peak of the sky. Will that Mr. kill me? Of course, what is the test of climbing the Tianfeng Peak? But it is the first test of the Red Cloud realm. Although it is still a first-class genius in the universe, it is not enough to attract the attention of the Mister. Now, the Red Cloud realm has fallen. The master of the Red Cloud realm doesn't know where to go. This Red Cloud realm is purely Lord Wu's final decision. What he wants to do depends on his preferences. He wants to kill you. Who can stop it? Snow White Ape Man looked at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang suddenly felt upset inside. Of course, you don't have to worry too much. Even though Lord Wu is in charge of the power of killing and killing in the Red Cloud realm, he has always been mild-tempered. As long as you are not stupid to anger him, he will not deal with you novel. And in accordance with the rules of the Red Cloud world, it should give you rewards and give you benefits. Snow White Ape Man laughed again. A little temper, Jian Wushuang suddenly relieved. He was worried that the so-called Lord Mist was the moody lunatic who had become trapped in these hardware years. He's not the kind of madman who hasn't seen him before. The killing is all a matter of preference. He may even kill you if he doesn't like it. Such people are too dangerous. He is now the ruler of the rule, and in this Red Cloud world, if that Mister wants to kill him, he is afraid that he has no chance to struggle at all. Let's go. They'll take you to see Master Wu. The Snow White Ape is humane. End of this chapter. Chapter 3783. Under the guidance of the Snow White Ape Man, Jian Wushuang soon crossed the last dozens of steps and really appeared on the peak of this peak. The peak of Mount Tiantian is already the highest point of the first heavy sky in the Red Cloud world. If you stand under the peak of Mount Tiantian and look up, it is unattainable. But when he really stood on the peak, Jian Wushuang looked down for the first time, but found that his sight was completely blocked, and he couldn't see everything under the peak. After arriving at the summit, Jian Wushuang immediately saw a bald old man standing in the center of the summit, wearing a luxurious silver robe, like crystal. The bald old man, with his hands on his back and a gentle smile on his face, makes people feel kind at first sight. Jian Wushuang saw this bald old man for the first time and couldn't help but feel warm and immediately felt a little more favorable to him. Master Fog. Snow White Ape Man salutes respectfully. Bloodsword, I've seen Master Wu. Sword Wushuang naturally respected him. You go down first. Lord Bald, the old man, glanced at the Snow White Ape Man. Yes, the Snow White Ape Man did not dare to violate it, and immediately turned away. Above the peak, only Jian Wushuang and this bald old man, Master Wu, were left. Bloodsword, this is your name? Master Wu looked at Jian Wushuang with a smile on his mouth. It is rare for someone to be able to come here at the level of the Rule Master, although you are the perfect life and able to break through. The test of Tianfeng has something to do with your level of life, but your own strength, your understanding of Kendo, and your various means are also extremely strong. Jian Wushuang's expression moved, but his heart was not surprised. He has a perfect level of life. Most people can't see it, but as long as he releases his full strength, he displays life powers and celestial spells. You must know that these two mysteries can inspire their own life level advantages as much as possible. As long as the two mysteries are performed, with the vision of this haze, naturally, you can see your own level of life at a glance. Let's say, aside the level of life, your talents should be first class in the vast universe. If you add the level of life, you can say enough about the top geniuses in the universe. Such geniuses, even in the depths of the universe, it is enough for many forces to take it seriously. Adult ridiculous. Jian Wushuang is very humble, but he is very confused. His own talent, including the perfect level of life, is only just to pay attention to those forces deep in the universe. This cannot help but make Jian Wushuang more curious about the deepest part of the universe, where there are many incredible geniuses. Under normal circumstances, a genius like you who has passed the test of stepping on the peak of the sky can become a disciple of his master. Although he is only a disciple outside, he can also get benefits that you could never imagine before, as well as various cultivation of all kinds of resources, but unfortunately, the vein of the owner has long since vanished. Even the master has died. The countless strong men of his majesty have died, fled, and wandered. Even the Master-S kingdom of God has completely collapsed, and the Red Cloud realm has raged through the universe and came to this place. Now, in the Red Cloud realm, there is only a small part of the resources left by the original host to serve as rewards, so naturally you will not have so much. Master Wu said softly, hearing the words of this misty man. The sword has no double-face color, but it is quiet, but it has been secretly booing. In fact, he had already guessed that the founder of the Red Cloud realm should have fallen. Otherwise, the Red Cloud realm would not have been here forever. The test that exists in the Red Cloud realm is likely to be the original Red Cloud realm owner used to screen disciples. It was only with the death of the Red Cloud realm master that the Red Cloud realm floated here. Although there was no support from the Red Cloud realm, the misty man who dominated everything in the Red Cloud realm still obeyed his master's order and continued to be a Pulse Pix disciples. Although you can't get the treatment that the disciple outside the host deserves, but since you have passed the test of stepping on the peak, you can still get some benefits. Master Wu finished and waved. The void on his side was torn apart suddenly, and a space channel appeared in front of the sword without two sides. Blood sword, come with me. Master Wu stepped into this sudden space channel. Jian Wushuang did not hesitate too much, followed this misty master, and also marched into this space channel. The light flickered, and when it appeared again, Jian Wushuang had already reached a vast land. This land is still a red, and there are still red clouds rolling over it, just like most environments in the first heavy sky of the Red Cloud world. But the power of Jian Wushuang's soul looked around, but it was the first time he figured out where he was. Island. I'm on an island now? Jian Wushuang was shocked. This is Hongyun Island, and it can also be said to be the second heaviest sky in the Red Cloud realm. The second day, Jian Wushuang was startled. Sure enough, Hongyanji has a second sky, but this second sky seems to be very different from the first sky. The Red Cloud realm has a triple sky. The first sky has 7 continents, of which the 7th continent, where Tatian Peak is located, is the core. It has a vast area. Even if compared with an astral world, it is not too bad. The second day has no such vast area and territory as the first day. This second day has only one island, which is the island where you are now, and the total area of this island is counted, but hundreds of thousands of miles. Master Wu whispered, as for the third sky of the Red Cloud realm, it is even smaller. It is said that it is the third sky, but in fact there is only one simple platform on the third sky. The high platform is very common, but it is very difficult to really set foot on that platform. Do you have to pass the test? Jian Wushuang couldn't help but look at Master Wu. Yes, Master Wu nodded. There are 2 tests in the Red Cloud realm. These 2 tests correspond to the tests of the disciples and the disciples respectively. If you pass the test of the first step on the sky, you can enter the first. On the second sky, you will also be qualified as an outsider disciple. In this second sky, there will also be a second test. That is for the inner disciples. You must pass the test here to enter the third sky. Is that so? Sword unparalleled. At the same time, he also understood that The test of stepping on the peak of the first day alone was so difficult, and he tried his best to pass all the cards before he could barely pass. As for the test of the second day, the difficulty must be even greater. If the strength to break through, the possibility of passing is very small. Emperor Jiutian. Chapter 3784. Little guy, I told you so much. You're afraid. You don't even know who the master is. Master Wu stared at Jian Wushuang. Yes, Jian Wushuang nodded. Look, the owner, the real host name, of course, almost no one knows this name in the universe. Most people only know the title of the owner, the ancestor of the Red Cloud. The appearance of awe and worship appeared on Lord Wu. The owner is a supremely powerful man, and an extremely powerful supreme one. He personally created the vein of Red Cloud and even opened up a kingdom of God. Is it really supreme? Jian Wushuang was not surprised. As for opening up the kingdom of God, Jian Wushuang didn't go to the depths of the universe. He didn't know what the kingdom of God was, but looking at the meaning of Lord Wu's words, it should be a great thing to open up the kingdom of God. Extremely powerful. How strong? Jian Wushuang could not help asking. It's very strong. At the supreme level, the master is already considered to be top level enough to run the universe. However, there were too many top-level strong players who participated in the war at that time. There are many people, such as Ling Yun Supreme, the king of the double throat, and the ancestral demon ancestors, who can dominate the universe. These are all superpowers above the master. The master died in the hands of the ancestor demon ancestors. Even God, the collapse of the country's complete bombardment. Oh, Master Wu could not help but sigh. When hearing the words of Lord Wu, Jian Wushuang's heart immediately had many ideas. Supreme Lingyun, king of the throat, and demon of battles? He may not know the king of the double throat and the ancestor of the 100 battles, but he knows Ling Ling Supreme. He is now a disciple of Ling Yunxing. Listen to what the Lord Fog said many years ago. An extremely violent war should have erupted in the depths of the universe. Those wars will kill even the Supreme, and Ling Yun Supreme, and this Red Cloud ancestor participated in that battle. As a result, the ancestor of Red Cloud died in that battle. As for Ling Yun Supreme, perhaps it was also severely hit in that battle that caused Ling Yunxing to suffer in a vein. Jian Wushuang thought secretly. At the same time, I finally understood why there are 3 battlefields in this star field. According to his estimation, it is very likely that the first battle was too earth-shattering and caused the collapse of the kingdoms of God. Among them, the kingdom of God was swallowed up by the broken universe and then drifted into this star field. And the red clouds, it is estimated that the secret place where Ling Yunxing is located is also drifting over. The Lord had tremendous strength before his life. He created a vein of red cloud with a complete disciple cultivation system, and this red cloud world was specifically to select suitable disciples for the host. At the beginning, the vast universe did not know how many talented disciples came to the red cloud world. Desire to pass the test of the Red Cloud realm and become a disciple of the Red Cloud realm. Even if it's just an outsider disciple, it's enough for countless days to furiously fight. At that time, our Red Cloud realm would occasionally select some outsider disciples and even insider disciples, but since that war, this is where the Red Cloud realm drifts. Although I have always followed my responsibilities, I have been selecting disciples for the Red Cloud realm. But up to now, only you have successfully passed the test of climbing the Tianfeng Peak. You guys, you are a self-reliant person. You were the first person to pass the test of stepping on the sky. Although you CA and T get the treatment of a disciple outside Hangyun, but this is the benefit that Hangyun should have. I'll never will be less of you. Master Wu said. Just by waving his hand, one order immediately appeared floating in front of Jian Wushuang, and there were 36 orders. According to the rules established by the host at the beginning, whoever comes to this second day through the test of stepping on the peak of the sky, not only can he enjoy the vast opportunities of this second day, but also the 30 among the 6 mysteries. Choose one practice at will. Little one, you can choose one of these 36 charms at will. Mist Humane, looking at the 36, Ritz floating in front of himself. It is clear that each of the 36, Ritz records a secret technique. This mystery comes from the vein of Hongyun, and the ancestor of the original Red Cloud was so powerful and powerful. Any of these 36 mysteries is not trivial, but knowing that, Jian Wushuang was not happy. Master Wu, the reward after passing the test of Tianfeng. Is this the only thing? Jian Wushuang frowned. Why, you are not satisfied yet. Master Wu suddenly stared. Boy, I'm afraid you don't know yet. Of these 36 mysteries, any one of them is an extremely precious treasure of red clouds created by the owner himself, also plundered from the hands of some other supreme strong. Any one of these mysteries is enough to cause countless masters to compete frantically, and even some weaker supremacy will be dazzled. You are not content? No, no. Jian Wushuang shook his head again and again. The junior did not mean that, nor was it because it was not good to discard the 36 mysteries, but there was actually a major reason why the juniors came to climb Tianfeng. That's because I need a special treasure, and this treasure may be in the Red Cloud realm. Oh, what treasure? Master Wu looked over. Bingxin glazed jade is a special treasure that can make the body of glazed. Jian Wushuang solemnly said. He really longed for Bingxin glazed jade, which was the treasure for rebuilding the body of his wife. He was so eager for this Red Cloud realm, not only because of the opportunities in this Red Cloud realm, but also because the treasures in this Red Cloud realm were endless. It is likely that there is Bingxin glazed jade, so he thought so desperately to pass the test of Tianfeng. He thought he would have the opportunity to get the Bingxin glazed jade after passing the test of stepping on Tianfeng, but he did not expect that the reward he received after stepping on Tianfeng was just one of the 36 mysteries. Indeed, these 36 mysteries are very powerful, and any one of them is worth more than Bingxin glazed jade, but he really desires to get Bingxin glazed jade. Master Wu frowned slightly. There is no such thing in Hongyun realm. What? The sword changed without any color. No, there are endless treasures in the Red Cloud realm, countless opportunities and treasures. How could there be no Bingxin glazed jade? Jian Wushuang couldn't believe it. I am in charge of everything in the Red Cloud realm. And I can tell you for sure that although there are many treasures left by the host in the Red Cloud realm, including all kinds of geniuses and treasures, there is indeed no Bingxin Liuli, you said, Jade. Lord Wu was very sure. End of this chapter. Chapter 3785. No. Jian Wushuang's head was a little cyanosis, and his heart was full of unwillingness. He went through the Tianfeng Peak with great pains. The main purpose was to get the Bingxin glazed jade, but now the grown-up mister told him not, which made him accept. I can see that you need Bingxin glass jade very much. Master Wu saw a deep glance at Jian Wushuang, but followed with a smile. You don't need to be nervous. Bingxin glass jade. There's no such thing in this Red Cloud world. But this Red Cloud world, there is something in it that can replace Bingxin glazed jade, and its effect is even better than that of Bingxin glazed jade. Huh. Jian Wushuang looked over immediately. Little guy, you are eager to get Bingxin Liuli. For whom should you reshape the body? Master Wu asked. Yes, it's for my wife. Jian Wushuang said. No wonder. Master Wu knew Bingxin glazed jade can shape the glazed body. This glazed body can be shaped as you like, but the glazed body itself is not a very extraordinary physique. After shaping it, it is the same as ordinary practitioners. At most, it has a slight advantage. But in my Red Cloud realm, there is a special treasure that is also used to shape the divine body, called the heart of the astral realm. Heart of the astral realm. Jian Wushuang looked. It was the first time he had heard of the treasure. The heart of the astral world, as the name suggests, is the core of one astral world, which contains the essence of the billions of years of one astral world and has incredible effects. It is naturally easy to use this astral heart to shape a body. The divine body shaped by the heart is far stronger than the so-called glazed body. Under normal circumstances, if a practitioner has absorbed the astral heart, it will be easy for him to become the master in the future, and even the chance of becoming supreme will be very high. And the astral heart contains a star, the endless essence of the realm, including the vast vitality of this side of the astral world. So if the astral body is condensed with the heart of the astral body, the vitality of the condensed divine body will be extremely powerful, and its ability to recover is much faster than that of ordinary practitioners' times. Lord Mist said. Jian Wushuang was shocked when he heard the words of Lord Wu. Astral heart contains endless vitality, and after cultivating the heart of the astral world, will it have great potential to become the master easily? This astral heart is too good, stronger than Bingxin Liuli, I don't know how many times. Shuang'er's own strength is too weak. I was worried before, even if Bingxin Liu had shaped her body, but she had to practice step by step. She did know how long it would take to reach the rule, let alone dominate. But if you can get the heart of this astral world, it will be much easier. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands. His heart was extremely excited. Master Fog, can I replace the reward for breaking through Tianfeng to the heart of the astral world? Jian Wushuang asked. Change the heart of the astral world. You want to be beautiful. Master Wu sneered. Little guy, I just told you the usefulness of this heart of the astral world. You should also be able to hear it. This heart of the astral world is very rare treasures, even in the vast universe, are extremely precious. After all, the heart of the astral world is the core of one astral world. In the process of astral evolution, it is sheltered by the laws of the universe. No one can take it out. Only when an astral world evolves to the end and destroys itself, the heart of the world will only stay, and not every astral world that evolves to the end will leave the heart of the astral world, but thousands of astral worlds evolve to the end. Only then will there be an astral world heart is left. The most important thing is that the astral heart left behind will only return to the universe when the universe is empty for less than a month. If no one finds this astral heart within this month, or it is impossible to collect it with special treasures, and the heart of the astral world is also gone. Because of this, the heart of the astral world is extremely rare in the universe, and its value is extremely expensive. Under normal circumstances, all the net worth of a master of the 4th series and even the 5th series are not comparable. An astral heart. And this is just the price of the astral heart, but the astral heart is too rare in the universe. Even if you can afford it, someone has to sell it. The words of Lord Wu let Jian Wushuang stunned. Although he had previously guessed that the astral heart might be of great value, he did not expect that it would be so precious. Even the net worth dominated by the 4th and 5th series may not be able to reach the heart of an astral world, and it is priceless. Suddenly, Jian Wushuang frowned. Master Mist, although the heart of the astral world is very precious, any one of the 36 mysteries of the Red Cloud is enough to make countless masters crazy. The value of these mysteries should be returned above the astral heart. At least, it should be almost right. Well, you're right. These 36 mysteries are accumulated over a long period of time and are of immense value. Even if you come up with a mystery, its value can be compared with the heart of the astral world. Master Wu nodded slightly and followed the conversation. But the test and the corresponding rewards in the Red Cloud realm were set before the Lord's life. Although the owner is now dead, no one can change the rules he has set. Naturally, I can't change it. You have crossed the Tianfeng Peak, and the reward you get is only one of the 36 mysteries, and the second chance in heaven. You can also get it, but other things like the heart of the astral world, it can't be obtained by stepping on the peak of the sky. Of course, you can continue to work hard to find a way to pass the test of the second heaven. As long as you can pass the test of the second heaven, then you will be able to go to the third heaven, and at the same time, you can become a disciple of Hongyan's veins. Among all the treasures in the Red Cloud realm, pick any 3 of them, and then you will be able to choose the heart of the astral world as one of the rewards fog humanity. Only through the test of the second sky can I get the heart of the astral world. The sword has no double-sided color. In the first test of the sky alone, the Tianfeng sword Wushuang has already exerted all his strengths. And the test of the second day, although he has not yet made it, it can be imagined that it will be more difficult than the first day. He wants to break through now. I'm afraid it's crazy. You guys do NT worry too much. What you have to do now is to choose one of these 36 mysteries, and then use some opportunities in this second day to find ways to improve your strength. The test of the second sky is 100 times more difficult than the first sky, and your talent may not be able to break through in the future. End of this chapter. Chapter 3786. Future? The sword did not sink in 2 sides. Master, you also know that I am a practitioner of this star field, and the Red Cloud realm usually has been born once in hundreds of millions of years in this star field. Each time it is born, it is only for 10,000 years. The birth of the Red Cloud realm has almost passed 8,000 years. That is to say, I have only 2,000 years left. How can I say the future? Do we have to wait for the Red Cloud realm born next time? You don't have to worry about this. Master Wu smiled. It is true that the Red Cloud world will be born once in hundreds of millions of years in this star field, and each birth is irregular. Of course, this depends mainly on my mood. When I think I will be born, when will I be born? And the same, whoever I want to enter into the Red Cloud realm, he will be able to enter. Huh. Jian Wushuang looked at Master Wu immediately. If you failed to pass the test of stepping Tianfeng before, then after you missed this time, you want to enter the Red Cloud realm. Indeed, you have to wait hundreds of millions of years, but now you have passed the test of stepping Tianfeng. It is already Red Cloud. There is a disciple outside the gate. Then naturally you can enter and exit the Red Cloud realm at will. Before you leave the Red Cloud realm, I will give you a token. Through the token, you can easily find the entrance of the Red Cloud realm and enter the Red Cloud realm. Inside, Master Wu laughed. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang immediately rejoiced. Master Wu, do you mean that I can go in and out of this Red Cloud world at any time in the future? Jian Wushuang said excitedly. Yes, Master Wu nodded. Of course, you usually enter the Red Cloud realm through the entrance. Then there will be no treasure in this Red Cloud realm. The treasure was born. Master Wu, those treasures born in the Red Cloud realm were you deliberately guided? Jian Wushuang asked. It's me, Lord Wu directly admitted. The purpose of the existence of Red Cloud realm is to select suitable disciples for the main person. To choose disciples, one must attract a steady stream of talented geniuses. And how to attract them? It depends on these born treasures. That's the way it is. Jian Wushuang knew how many precious treasures have been born in the Red Cloud realm in these epochs. Jian Wushuang was amazed inside. You know, the Red Cloud realm already has several epochs in this star field. Although it will open once every hundreds of millions of years, a few epochs will come down, and I am afraid that it has opened hundreds of times. And every time the Red Cloud realm is opened, there will be countless precious treasures born in the first day. For 10,000 years, even if an average of one precious treasure is born in a year in the Red Cloud realm, that is tens of thousands of precious treasures. The Red Cloud realm opens hundreds of times, that is millions of treasures. In addition, among these treasures, there is no shortage of peak treasures or even the strongest treasures. The vein of Hongyun, although it was once brilliant, is now declining anyway. Even the ancestor of Hongyun is dead, but there are so many treasures in this Red Cloud world. As if seeing the thought of Jian Wushuang, Master Wu smiled and said, "Little guy, don't you think that the number of these treasures is very scary? But in fact, the value of these treasures is pathetic. These few opportunities come. The Red Cloud realm has been open hundreds of times, and a total of millions of treasures have been born. However, when all these millions of treasures are added up, their value is at best equivalent to one or two relatively good rules." The rule of treasures? Jian Wushuang stunned. What is the rule of treasures? Don't you know? Master Wu looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise and saw Jian Wushuang shaking his head, but smiled. It seems that your star field is really too remote, not even the rule of treasure. The rule of treasure is the treasure that has been blessed by the laws of the universe. The power is extremely powerful, far above the general treasure, and the conditions that the rule of treasure wants to exhibit are also very high. Under normal circumstances, you must master a breadth of the law of the universe to be able to barely master it, but just barely master it. As for the power of the rule of arcs, you must have a certain understanding of the laws of the universe. In the vast universe, the value of the rule of the treasure is extremely high. Any low-level rule of the treasure can be exchanged for hundreds of strongest treasures. Like most of the masters in the universe, even the masters of the second and third series are mostly ruleless treasures, but the masters above the fourth series have good luck and may get one or two. But the master of the fourth series, as long as he doesn't feel a trace of the law of the universe, can't exert the power of the rule of treasure. Of course, even if he can't exert the power, the rule of the universe's own rule of blessing is blessed. It can still increase its own strength. Jian Wushuang heard. His heart was shocked. The rule is precious. The vast universe, the treasures used by top powerhouses, even the rule of the lowest level, the treasure, has its own rules of the universe. Must you understand the rules of the universe to be able to exert its power? Any rule of treasure is worth more than hundreds of thousands of strongest treasures. God! Jian Wushuang couldn't help but marvel. He had also received a piece of the strongest flying treasure and the strongest precious treasure in the Red Cloud realm before the crisis. But now he blinked that he knew the existence of the rule precious treasure. He immediately understood that he had always been watching the sky. The strongest treasure in this star field is indeed a good treasure, enough to make the strong dominate the crazy battle. But when it is placed in the vast universe, it is nothing. Only the rule of treasure is the thing used by the true strong. You understand now? Master Wu looked at Jian Wushuang with interest, but millions of ordinary treasures, let alone the superpowers at the level of the master, even a supreme one, would not care, and that war, the master fell, the kingdom of God collapsed, countless practitioners in the kingdom of God died, and their treasures were also retained. Many of them were absorbed by the Red Cloud realm. So in the Red Cloud realm, such a treasure, many, yes, there are hundreds of millions. I just want to control the existence of these treasures only for the long-term existence of the Red Cloud realm, Jian Wushuang heard, but his heart sighed endlessly. In this star field, the masters of countless rules, including many masters, are furiously fighting in the Red Cloud realm in order to compete for those treasures, especially the strongest. Several chances came down, and for these supreme treasures, he died without knowing how many strong ones. But whoever thought that this star field is vying for the treasures that the strong are madly fighting for? And in the eyes of this misty adult, it is such garbage. Yes, it's garbage. M. Chapter 3787. Jian Wuxuanguang imagined that hundreds of millions of various treasures were piled up together, and his head could not help but faint. Hundreds of millions of pieces. No wonder this Mr. Dare to be so luxurious. Every time the Red Cloud realm is opened, tens of thousands of treasures are born. It turns out that these treasures are so worthless in the eyes of Master Wu. Little guy, you also got a lot of treasures when you were on the first heavy day, right? One of them is a winged treasure, right? Master Wu looked over. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded, thinking of his own Shuangguang Ji Tianyi, but he couldn't help smiling. Xian Guang Tianyi, the strongest flying class treasure. What a surprise he was when I got this Shuangguang Xian Tianyi, especially when he felt the power of Shuangguang Xian Tianyi. He was very happy, and because of this relationship between Shuangguang and Tianyi, his strength has been greatly improved. But now that I know the existence of the rule of treasures, Jian Wushuang felt that Xian Guang's Tianyi was in the eyes of the top powerhouse. Well, the feather-winged treasure you got in the first heavy day is actually pretty good. Wutai humane. Good. Master Wushuang looked at him. I haven't known how many years the Red Cloud has been destroyed. The Red Cloud realm has opened in this star field, and there have been several epochs. In this long time, because of boredom, I have made hundreds of millions of treasures in Red Cloud realm hierarchical divisions have been made, and most of these hundreds of millions of treasures have been classified by me as the lowest, that is, the level of garbage. Starfields like yours call it the elementary universe, the higher universe, the top universe, and the peak universe. These are all rubbish. Wutai humane. And your star field calls it the strongest cosmic treasure, and I can barely classify it into the ordinary category. Although this kind of ordinary treasure is useless to me, it is barely enough. The first and second ranks dominated. As for ordinary, I also divided the category of best of class. As the name suggests, these are the so-called universe's strongest treasures, some of which are more powerful and perhaps more special and can be taken by me. Treasures that belong to the category of best of class are barely able to enter my eyes, and the value is naturally much higher than the ordinary strongest treasure. Like ordinary treasures, there are thousands of them, and maybe they are barely comparable to the lowest rule of treasure. And there are dozens of treasures at the level of necessary. It is estimated that it is comparable to a most inferior rule. There are many low-level and even high-level treasures in the Red Cloud realm, but there are only hundreds of them that can be classified by me as the best grade ones. I do NT usually have hundreds of such treasure-level treasures. It's easy to throw it out for you to snatch, but it's only after the Red Cloud realm opens every few times. And this time, I just threw out a superb treasure, that wing, which you finally got. Upon hearing the words of Master Wu, Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up instantly. He had just been hit hard, thinking that he had gotten Shuangguang Yantianyi, and that was it. But now it seems that this black light is not bad, although it is far from the rule of the treasure. At least it is also the treasure of the highest level, much stronger than the so-called strongest treasure. And the Lord said, like this, the treasure of the highest level, you can make up dozens of pieces and barely exchange them. One of the lowest ranks of the magic circle is precious. In other words, Zhuangguang's maggot Tianyi, anyhow, is equivalent to a few tenths of a rule of treasure, which is already very good. Your star field is too remote in the end. I am afraid that I am not qualified to contact the strong at all, and naturally, I am not qualified to contact those powerful treasures. Therefore, these low-level and ordinary treasures are regarded as you, baby, scramble for this. But if you go deeper into the universe in the future, you do and have to go too far. As long as you reach the slightly larger star field, you will understand how narrow your vision is. With a smile, Jian Wushuang swaggered his lips, and his heart was upset, but he could not refute it. Yes, like this low-level, ordinary level of treasure, I have more in the red cloud world. Should I give you a few? Master Wu looked at Jian Wushuang with interest. This level of treasure, they were all absorbed from the kingdom of God at the beginning, not left by the master. As long as you want, I can be the master directly to you. Of course I want. Jian Wushuang immediately showed excitement. Although I now know the existence of the rule of the treasure, knowing that these so-called strongest treasures are so. But anyway, the strongest treasure is absolutely rare in this star field, and it is absolutely enough for many masters to furiously compete. Maybe he doesn't lack the strongest treasure now, but his friends are lacking. For example, there are no strongest treasures in the Xian Shinto, the Lord of the Heavens, the Lord of Time and Space, and the Heavenly Ancestor. There are also many high-level powers in the early divine realm. If this time he can take a bunch of the strongest Jibao to return from the Red Cloud realm, the highest level of combat power in the entire early divine realm should be able to improve a great step. When the star battles, the confidence will be even greater. Haha, look at your eager look. Okay, when you are planning on the Red Cloud realm, I will take you to select. Although the treasure of the highest level will not give you too much, but the ordinary level and the lower level, you take hundreds of pieces, are not a problem. Master Wu laughed. Sword warriors rejoice. Mr. Ku followed and said, "Little guy, you are already a disciple of Hongyan's veins. You have to have a higher vision. Some ordinary treasures are not worth your joy. What really matters now is the rule of law, the rule of treasure." Jian Wushuang moved inwardly. Master Wu, I have the opportunity to get the rule of treasure in this red cloud world, right? Of course. Master Wu nodded. Did I tell you before? As long as you pass the second-day test of Red Cloud Realm and become a disciple of Red Cloud's inner circle, there are many treasures in Red Cloud Realm. You can pick 3 of them at will. And the treasures in the Red Cloud Realm are all left by the owner at the beginning. Although they are only left by the owner at random, the number is not large, but there are hundreds of pieces, but any one is enough to make the 4th grade, or even the 5th level of the domineering eyes are crazy. And the rule of treasure is as many as dozens of pieces. Then you can choose whatever you need. Of course, the premise is that you can pass the second sky test of Red Cloud World. Emperor Jiutian. Chapter 3788. Jian Wushuang was instantly excited when he heard it. The treasure left by the ancestor of Red Cloud in the Red Cloud realm. Although there are only hundreds of items, any one is worth a lot, which is enough to make the masters of the 4th and 5th series crazy. As long as you pass the test of the second heaven, you can choose 3 of these treasures. The test of the second day. I must pass. Jian Wu's eyes flashed an unprecedented desire, not only for the rule of treasure. The most important thing is that the astral heart that can make his wife cold as frost to restore the body of God must also pass the test of the second heaven to get it. For his wife, this second-day test, he must break through anyway. It is good to be determined. Master Wu looked at Jian Wushuang, but poured a basin of cold water on Jian Wushuang appropriately. But the test of the second heaven is extraordinary. Although you passed the test of the first heaven, you are also very talented in speaking. Belongs to the top level in the entire universe, but hope to pass the test of the second sky. Hope is not too great. Huh. Jian Wushuang looked over immediately. You guys, the test in the Red Cloud realm is to choose a disciple for a Red Cloud. And how strong is the Red Cloud in the peak period? That is, who owns a great country, and the owner of my family, Red Cloud ancestor, is even more the top powerful man among the supreme masters, his master is so powerful and his vision is naturally very high, the ordinary genius is not regarded by him at all. Even if you are like this, the genius of the master of the rule can persist in school time in the hands of the top 3 masters of the first grade, and can only become a peripheral disciple in the vein of Hongyun. Disciple, it's too high. After all, Hongyun trains an inner disciple in the same vein, and the cost of resources will not be inferior to that of all the net worth who is dominated by an ultimate level, and these inner disciples have a certain chance of being valued by the host. It was obtained by the true story of the master. This led to the countless geniuses in the vast universe who shattered their heads and wanted to join Hongyun as a disciple. Even during the heyday of Hongyun's veins, all the disciples added up. Dozens. You can imagine how difficult it is to become a disciple in Hongyun's veins. Jian Wushuang heard. His complexion was extremely dignified. Indeed, if according to Master Wu, the cost of cultivating an inner disciple at the beginning of Hongyun was comparable to the cost of cultivating all net worth at the ultimate level, then the cost is indeed too great. Natural requirements, it is even higher. In the heyday of the Red Cloud, all the disciples in the door also added up dozens, which further confirmed the difficulty of becoming a disciple. There is no doubt that the dozens of people who can become the disciples of Hongyun's inner circle must be the most wicked super genius in the vast universe. Little guy, now that you've come to this point, I might as well tell you that you are the master of a rule and want to be a disciple of Hongyun's veins. The threshold is to understand a bit of the law of the universe. As long as you understand with a trace of the law of the universe, you can easily break through the test of the second heaven, except that there is no other way. Master Wu said, "What?" Jian Wushuang's eyes widened. "Why are you scared?" Master Wu looked at Jian Wushuang with interest. Jian Wushuang nodded. He was really frightened. Realize a trace of the law of the universe. Even if you can understand a trace of the universe rules in the master, you are extremely anti-sky. Like the demon flame, he was the ultimate dominating level at first, but as a result, he encountered a master who knew a bit of the laws of the universe and was chased down by the other party. This led to the annihilation of the body, and only this residual soul escaped, and has been lingering for a long time. It can be imagined that a master who can realize a trace of the laws of the universe is extremely perverted and is also destined to become the top power in the master. This is the case with the master, but now he is only the master of the rules. It is absolutely foolish to want a ruler to understand a little bit of the law of the universe. In fact, at the beginning, the requirements of the second-day test of the Red Cloud realm were not so outrageous, but later the host may be dissatisfied with the quality of those disciples inside the Red Clouds, or it may be because the host intends to receive the true disciple only after the request was raised. Unfortunately, the war broke out shortly after the war broke out. The master died, and the requirements of the Red Cloud realm could not be changed again. Of course, although it's really demanding and incredible for a ruler to comprehend a rule of the universe is too big and too vast, and geniuses are emerging endlessly. A ruler like this can comprehend a rule of the universe. It is not absent in the universe, but it is relatively rare. In the vast universe, geniuses are also divided into levels. Among them, the ruler who can understand a trace of the law of the universe belongs to the most advanced type. Only 1 billion stars can appear on average. Is there only 1 billion star world? Jian Wushuang was shocked inside. He didn't go to the depths of the universe. He didn't know how big the universe was, nor how many stars and universes existed in the universe. But the amount of billions alone is exaggerated enough. In the beginning, the world was only a third-level astral world, and it was only one of the billions of astral worlds. Even in the star field where he is now, all the astral circles, add up to dozens. There is only a chance for such a genius to appear in the billions of stars. The quality of this genius is too high. Little guy, you don't have to worry too much. According to my estimation, even if you are not as good as the billions of stars, a super genius may appear, but the difference is never too much. Mist Humane. Huh. Jian Wushuang looked over immediately. You are in the most marginal zone of the universe, and the strongest here will barely reach the of the second grade, and here is not qualified to contact the universe, and there is no such perfect cultivation system or a complete inheritance. Most of the practitioners in your star field rely on their own exploration and cultivation. The only chance may be some battlefield debris that came here through the turbulence of the universe. In these harsh environments, you can pass the test of the first heaven. Your talent is naturally extraordinary. In the second heaven, that is, now on this island, there are many opportunities. These opportunities will be of great help to you. Chapter 3789. With your talents, taking advantage of these opportunities, take some time. Maybe it is really possible to pass the test of this second heaven. Wuda Humane. Master Wu said easily, but Jian Wushuang still felt tremendous pressure. Anyway, the heart of the astral world, I must get it, and the rule is precious. Jian Wu's eyes flashed fiercely. Little guy, let's leave the second day test. For now, you are still choosing one of these 36 mysteries at will, Wu said. Jian Wushuang nodded, and then began to look into the 36 mysteries in front of him. These 36 mysteries are recorded in 36 spells, and Jian Wushuang can only detect one mystery. The 36 mysteries are all powerful mysteries accumulated in a vein of red clouds. Any one is extremely powerful, enough to make the 4th and 5th series masters crazy. When Jian Wushuang browsed, I also found that these mysteries are really amazing. Some mysteries are not even weaker than their supreme immortal mystic. And there are 36 mysteries. There are many types. There are powerful mysteries in attack and killing. There are mysteries in the field or repression type. There are also mysteries of body protection and life protection, and so on. The eyes of sword warriors glowed. After all, he has a lot of mysteries to use here. For example, among these mysteries, there is a unique kendo mystery. Although the kendo mystery sword Wushuang has not been cultivated, just by looking at the information, he knows that this kendo mystery is enough to make his sword power even higher. But unfortunately, the threshold of this kendo mystery is very high, and it also costs a great deal to consolidate a destiny sword that belongs to itself. The rule is invaluable, and the sword is unparalleled. Naturally, this secret technique only has his eyesight. There is also an extremely powerful consciousness technique. This mystery technique can not only greatly enhance the strength of your consciousness, but also release a terrifying consciousness attack. That conscious attack, but ignoring the hindrance of the soul, is equivalent to stepping on the peak of Tianfeng, the same as the conscious attack of the three-eyed demon woman. The three-eyed demon woman's conscious attack method, Jian Wushuang has been taught, not only arrogant, but also impossible to stop. Of course, Jian Wushuang also longs for such a secret technique. Imagine that when he was playing against the strong, he suddenly carried out this conscious attack, and the opponent was likely to be successful if he didn't notice it. However, although this consciousness technique is good, the minimum cultivation threshold is the level of domination, and it is not the general domination. At least it must be dominated by the second level or above. He is still far from being dominated by the first series, let alone the second series. This consciousness technique, of course, cannot be cultivated. These mysteries are the accumulation of Hongyun's long years. Anyone is very good, but the threshold for the practice of these mysteries is too high. Although there are 36 mysteries, the mysteries that can be cultivated now, but there are not a few at all, like the ones that I think are of great use to me. I can't practice any of them now. Jian Wushuang frowned. Little guy, you're distressed, don't know which mystery to choose, right? Master Wu saw it at this time. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. Among the 36 mysteries, I can practice now. At most, there are more than 10, but these 10 mysteries have not made me very eager, nor have I know which door to pick. Ha, no way, you are just the master of the rules. The realm is too low. If you have reached the master level, even if it is the master of the first level, then you will be able to practice a lot more mysteries now. Master Wu smiled, but suddenly his expression moved. Little guy, if you can't be sure, should I recommend you one? Huh. Jian Wushuang looked at Master Wu immediately. Master Wu, which mystery do you think I am suitable for? This door, look at it. When Master Wu waved his hand, one of the 36 commandments appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang immediately searched for the secret information in this order. Mystic dragon is gone. Mystic power burns mystic. Jian Wu's eyes narrowed. Divine power burning mystery, as the name implies, is to forcibly burn your own divine power, greatly speed up your own divine power consumption, so that your strength can reach a new level of mystery in a short time. Jian Wushuang has also seen this mystery before, but he didn't care too much. After all, any of the 36 mysteries is very good, and most of them are the ones that directly improve their own strength or various means. And this magical power burns the magical power, but it requires a lot of magical power to act. Only at the cost can it be cast. Compared with other mysteries directly cast, this magical burning mystery is obviously inferior. Therefore, Jian Wushuang did not really care about this mystery before, but he did not expect that Master Wu recommended it to him. Master Wu, this dragon extermination technique, is very powerful. Jian Wushuang looked at Master Wu. Of course it is great. Master Wu smiled slightly. Little guy, you have never really wandered in the vast universe, so you probably don't know much. In the vast universe, the mystery of magic burning is relatively rare, at least than other kinds of attacks or mysteries are rare. And the burning of magical power requires a huge amount of magical power as the basis. And the consumption of magical power is too great often a practitioner who does not have long to cast the magical burning magic, his magical power, it is completely exhausted. So in the universe, almost all practitioners use the mystery of magic burning as a whole card, which belongs to the type that can't help but fight. But it is undeniable that the mystery of magical burning is indeed extremely powerful. Take the first level master, for example. Once he casts the magical burning of magical power, his power will increase by 100-fold, and he can have a second level in a short time. The master as combat power. Even if he is the master of the 4th rank, after performing the magical power burning operation, he can barely reach the threshold of the master of the 5th rank. The burning of divine power can indeed achieve this step. Jian Wushuang was not surprised. If you change to someone else, I wouldn't recommend this dragon extinction technique, but you are different. Master Wu looked at Jian Wushuang calmly. Little guy, you are a perfect practitioner of life, and you have great power. It is 100 times or even 1,000 times as much as a practitioner of the same level. In other words, if an ordinary ruler can only use 1 breath to perform mystic burning mystery, you can maintain 100 breaths or even 1,000 breaths. Chapter 3790. Of course, a battle, too many changes, and you can't use only one kind of divine power. Even if your divine power is hundreds of thousands of times larger than an ordinary practitioner, you can't be extravagant enough to perform this divine power. Burning mystery. But anyway, if you have this magical burning mystery, it will be more convenient than other practitioners. Other practitioners, even if they possess the magic of burning magic, will be used as the ultimate whole card for life-threatening. But if you feel that it is necessary, you can cast it. After all, You have a lot of power, even if you burn 10 or 20%. What a big deal. Mist Humane. Jian Wushuang nodded secretly, and his heart began to figure it out. Indeed, compared with ordinary practitioners, his advantage in divine power is too great. That mysterious burning mystery, even if he burns desperately, is estimated to be sufficient for a long period of time. And the strength reaches his level. The general life and death fight will not last for too long and may even end instantly. This magic burning skill can be a sharp blade in his hands, and it is also a big hole card. And this card lasts longer than ordinary practitioners. It's decided it'll take this dragon extermination technique. Jian Wushuang has made up his mind. He has been scrutinized carefully. Indeed, among the 36 mysteries, he can practice more than 10 mysteries now. Among the more than 10 mysteries, the one who helps the most for his strength should be this dragon extinction. And according to Lord Mist, the magic of mysterious burning is extremely rare in the universe. If you miss this time, if you can get another magic of burning mysterious next time, it is unknown. Little guy, believe me, you will never regret choosing this dragon demystification practice. Master Wu also was extremely sure. Jian Wushuang was a series of smiles, and then Jian Wushuang received the information of dragon extermination in the way directed by Lord Mist. Although the mystery of dragon extermination is recorded in that order, Jian Wushuang cannot directly collect the order. Instead, under the guidance of Lord Wu, let the information in the order come into his mind and form memories. Soon, the complete information method of the dragon extinction technique was completely printed in Jian Wushuang's mind. This dragon extermination technique is so powerful. After getting the message of dragon extermination, Jian Wushuang was stunned, and his heart was ecstatic. He previously thought that the dragon demystification is simply a method of burning magical powers, but he did not expect that the dragon demystification's burning of magical powers is also divided into various levels. Dragon Mystery is divided into 3 volumes. In the first volume, the master of the rule can practice. After the divine power is burned, his strength increases by 100-fold. In the second volume, the master can practice, the speed of burning of divine power is increased 10-fold, and the strength is increased by 1,000-fold. In the third volume, the Supreme only practiced the speed of burning of divine power increased by 100 times, and the strength increased by 10,000 times. Terrible, terrible! Jian Wushuang agitated his throat. Just at the level of the rules master, the strength is enough to increase 100-fold, and when it is dominated and supreme, it is even 1,000-fold increase. Of course, the burning and promotion of this divine power is just pure power. As for the understanding of the Tao and the understanding of the laws of the universe, it has not been promoted in the sacred style, and it has reached the second and third volumes. The speed at which the divine power burns will also increase 10-fold to 100-fold, which means that the divine power is consumed more and more. However, it is still very abnormal. I am now the master of the rules, so I can practice the first volume. Once I have made it, my current combat power is the top level of domination. Once I cast the Dragon Destruction skill to increase the power by 100 times, my combat power is it can be increased to the second level. And even in the second level, I am afraid that it is not weak, but from the higher level and even the top level. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands tightly. His eyes flashed a strong light. He felt that as long as he refined the secret technique, his combat power would be enough to reach a whole new level. In the future, even if the Lord of the Clouds kills himself, he will have a better grasp of how to deal with it. This dragon-destroying mystery, although overbearing, is not too complicated. You only need to spend a little time to make the first volume. Of course, you don't need to practice it now. After all, This is the Red Cloud realm. You will not encounter danger here, and the second test of the sky, UCA and T use this dragon annihilation technique, so it's not too late to wait until you leave the Red Cloud realm, or practice when you want to leave. Mist Humane. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Yes, Master Wu, you said that there are many opportunities in the second day. What opportunities are there? Jian Wushuang asked. The second chance is on this island. Master Wu smiled. Don't look at the small area of the island, but it contains countless opportunities. Some of these opportunities are red clouds and strong pulses. Of course, most of them are from the outside world, of which the level is very high. Of course, you are still too weak now, and you have not even comprehended the laws of the universe. You can only see the opportunities in the second day. It's a little fur, but even if it's just a little fur, it should NT help you much. It's like the Red Cloud world, open this time, the Sword Stone born in that first heavy day. Sword Stone? Jian Wushuang looked. The Sword Stone of the first heaven, but under that Sword Stone, he has realized for 5,000 years. These 5,000 years of enlightenment not only greatly improved his perception of the origin of Kendo, but also allowed him to perfect his sword guarding of the earth. It can be said that the Sword Stone helped him tremendously, and the Sword Stone contains 4 swords. There were only 1 sword in the first enlightenment. If he hadn't worried that the Red Cloud realm had only been open for 10,000 years, he would not be willing to delay too much time on the Sword Stone. Otherwise, he would have to learn the other 3 swords under the Sword Stone. The Sword Stone is related to this second day. Jian Wushuang could not help asking. Yes, Master Wu nodded. In the first cloud of the Red Cloud world, there are occasional special opportunities, and these special opportunities are not actually owned by the first cloud, but all come from the second cloud. Just like that Sword Stone, it comes from the second heaven, and that Sword Stone is not only 1, but 11 full. Each Sword Stone has 4 golden characters, and each golden character there is a sword art that reaches the extreme of domination. Upon hearing this, Jian Wushuang's figure was immediately excited. 11 sword stones. Each of them has 4 golden characters, and each golden character has a sword technique that can reach the ultimate mastery. 3 Heads M. Chapter 3791. The sword art in that sword stone is so strong. The sword, unparalleled, is very clear. He himself was able to spy on some of the mysteries and moods in swordplay because he had mastered the origins of Kendo universe, but what he could see was only some fur. Even if it is fur, it has greatly improved his Kendo and sword skills. And such a sword stone, there are even 11. The sword stones are the most important in this island right now, but sword stones are just one of the many opportunities on this island, and they are not the most precious opportunities. As for other opportunities, you can slowly explore them yourself. Mist Humane. Master Fog, how long can I stay on this island? Jian Wushuang asked. Whatever you want, you can stay as long as you want, and even if you leave now, you can come in any time in the future. Master Wu. Great. Jian Wu's eyes flashed with joy. Go. Master Wu waved. Jian Wushuang salutes the Misty Lord slightly, even if he can't wait to find many opportunities on the island. The mister looked at the back of Jian Wushuang's departure, but a slightly deep smile appeared on his face. This little guy already has the extremely rare life in the universe, which can also be called a perfect life form rare in the billions of stars, and his own talent for understanding is also very good. Such a super genius. I am afraid in no way is it worse than the sort of demon that is likely to appear in the billions of stars. If the owner is still alive, seeing such demon geniuses will certainly be quite happy, and he will want to collect him as a true biography disciple. Master Wu murmured, although he hadn't praised Jian Wushuang's talent much when he just said to Jian Wushuang. He also said that the vast universe has more talents than him, And he also proposed that the billions of stars might not have a super genius, to say so, but Master Wu knows very well that the super genius that does not necessarily have one person in the billions of stars is rare in the entire universe. Whenever there is one of the top forces in the deepest part of the universe and the top hegemons, which is not to compete madly, his ancestor, Red Cloud Ancestor, although he was also a top powerhouse, was able to open up the kingdom of God himself, and was a big man in the depths of the universe, but compared to those top cosmic hegemons, it is still a far cry. Because of this, it is generally possible for a superdemon to appear in the billions of stars, and it is impossible for his master to be accepted as a disciple in the universe. The ancestors of the Red Cloud Ancestors changed the threshold of the Red Cloud world, but in fact, they only held a little hope. Now, Jian Wushuang has come to the Red Cloud realm. Although he is purely perceptive, he may not be as good as the super evil of 1 billion stars, but if he is only one potential, he may be better than that. And it is huge. A genius with such potentials will certainly pay much attention if his master is still alive. But unfortunately, his ancestor Red Cloud Ancestors have long since died, and Hongyan's veins have fallen, and even the kingdom of God has collapsed. The most important thing is that the original Red Cloud Ancestors in the first battle did not have time to retain his legacy. That is to say, in the Red Cloud realm, there is no inheritance of the Red Cloud Ancestors. Otherwise, this misty man has long considered making Jian Wushuang inherit the mantle of Hongyan's ancestors. I hope that this little guy can really pass the test of the second day with the help of this second chance. If he passes, although I still can only follow the rules, I can go more or less. Give him some better suggestions so that he can get more benefits. Master Wu sighed. His body fluttered, but he had disappeared from the place. The Red Cloud world is the second highest, above the island. Jian Wushuang roamed freely over the island. His soul's power had already been released, and his eyes kept looking constantly at everything below. There are all kinds of opportunities on this island. Jian Wushuang came along all the way and did see some places that should be opportunities, but he did not stay, but went all the way. Soon, he came to the very center of the island, and here he saw the place where the sword and stones were piled up, as Master Wu said. Sure enough, there are 10 sword stones, suspended in midair very calmly. On these 10 sword stones, there are old and misty golden words. There are 4 golden texts on each sword stone, and each golden text contains an extremely powerful sword skill. Coupled with that sword stone that was born in the first day, there are 11 sword stones, which adds up to 44 amazing swordsmanships. The sword stone born in the first heaven of the Red Cloud realm alone, has made many practitioners who are good at kendo in this starfield crazy. But there are 10 full here. Jian Wushuang smiled when even swept over the 10 sword stones. Before coming to the sword stone, looking at the ancient and elegant golden words on the 10 sword stones, Jian Wushuang did not hesitate, and consciousness sank into it immediately. In a few moments, these golden words began to evolve into swordplay in his mind. A horrific sword skill is constantly practiced in the mind of the sword. Too strong and terrible. These sword arts are simply incredible. Jian Wushuang watched the sword art of these golden text changes. There is no doubt that these swordsmanships are no worse than the 4 swordsmanships that he saw on the sword stone of the first heaven. Even though he is now aware of the origin of kendo, he can only watch some fur from these swords. But even this fur was enough to shock him. This sword art is as fast as the wind and the shape of the fire, but it will fall apart. This sword art has directly formed the boundless kendo realm. This sword, a sword comes out, destroys everything. Jian Wushuang was extremely excited inside. He is very clear that the swordsmanship contained in the 10 sword stones can be easily found out at www.novel. For him, even after studying for a long time, he cannot grasp the swordsmanship 20%. This is true for one sword art, not to mention so many swordsmanships. Don't worry. The opportunity on this island is not the only kind of sword stone. He'll go and see other opportunities first. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath, and his consciousness emerged from the sword stone, even if he got up and swept away towards the surrounding void. On this island, he began to look for other opportunities. There are many opportunities for the second sky. They are everywhere, and they are not hidden. It is naturally very easy for him to find them. Soon he found various opportunities on the island. End of this chapter. Dear, click in and give a good comment. The higher the score, the faster the update. It is said that a beautiful wife was found at the end of the new score. Chapter 3792. What is this? Vortex? Jian Wushuang looked in amazement at a huge swirl in front of him. This blood-colored vortex has a range of thousands of miles, like an open mouth of blood, which is extremely scary. On this island, which is only a few 100,000 miles in size, this blood-colored vortex covering a range of thousands of miles is extremely conspicuous. In addition to Sword Stone, Jian Wushuang's first opportunity to find it is this vortex. This vortex does not seem to be in danger. Jian Wushuang muttered. First of all, although this vortex looked scary, it did not give Jian Wushuang any sense of danger. Furthermore, Lord Mist said that the second sky exists only by chance, and there is no danger. Naturally, he does not need to be too alert or worried. After hesitating for a moment, Jian Wushuang slowly walked out towards the core of the vortex and walked step by step. Jian Wushuang did not encounter any obstacles, and just as he appeared at the heart of the blood swirl, a huge ancient picture appeared in front of him. In the picture, a figure holding a knife with one hand. Stabbed down. Wow, beautiful and extremely exquisite. With this knife split, Jian Wushuang's mind was instantly attracted. At this moment, Jian Wushuang even felt his entire consciousness. The entire soul was forcibly split and torn by this knife, and his heart could not help but emerge. Sheer towering fear. He was all there, unable to move. He was completely deterred by the shocking stab in the ancient pictures, until the blade of light in the ancient pictures completely dissipated. Jian Wushuang's mind and spirit reluctantly recovered. Terrible, terrible. I've never seen such a terrible knife. Jian Wushuang looked in horror at the ancient picture in front of him. In the picture, the figure has taken back the sword, but Jian Wushuang will never forget the feeling at that moment. At that moment, it felt as if my soul consciousness had to be forcibly split and torn. There is no doubt that it is a shocking knife. Peerless swordsmanship. The man who casts this sword is definitely a supreme powerhouse. Absolutely. Jian Wushuang is extremely sure. Even if the figure is not supreme, his knife is absolutely supreme. This sword method has a complete ancient picture, and you can even feel the artistic conception and mystery contained in that sword method, and even you will be deterred by the sword method. If a strong swordsman is here, in the ancient picture, watching this ancient picture to enlighten him, his understanding on the knife path can definitely be improved at an incredible speed, and so is the sword method. But unfortunately, what I'm good at is not the sword. Jian Wushuang shook his head secretly. There is no doubt that the ancient picture at the core of this vortex is a great opportunity for any knife path practitioner. But for Jian Wushuang, who is good at kendo, the effect is not great. Shaking his head, Jian Wushuang walked out of the vortex and soon went to another opportunity. Well, the statue? Jian Wushuang looked up and looked at a statue standing side by side in front of him. There are 4 statues, each of which is immensely tall, more than 100 feet high. From these 4 statues, Jian Wushuang can feel the existence of extremely strong power of rules. Master, this is the statue of Wushan. The sound of the magic flame suddenly sounded in Jian Wushuang's heart. Statue of Wushan? Jian Wushuang stunned. What is Wushan? The Wu is a very unique and powerful special life in the universe. This special life is very strange. They were born to be the darling of the rules of heaven and earth. In terms of the rules of heaven and earth, they do and need to understand at all. At the peak, they will naturally understand the 9 rules, and all of the 9 rules will merge to become the ultimate master. What? Jian Wushuang was startled. There is no need to learn the rules. As long as you grow to the peak, you will naturally understand the 9 rules and integrate them perfectly. Is there such a special life in the universe? No, since it is a special life, it should be unique, but you just said that they obviously have more than one god. Jian Wushuang frowned. Master, you misunderstood. Wushan is actually just a general term for this special kind of life. Although they are all Wushan, the rules that they understand and merge with each other are different. After all, there are many rules of heaven and earth. Even if each head of thee is fully aware of and merges 9 kinds, it can still create many heads of God. Demon Flame Road. Is that so? Sword Unparalleled. Yes, it's the same as Wu Wu, one who understands these 9 rules, and the other that understands the other 9 rules, which are certainly different from each other. It's because the Wu gods are so unique that their gods are extremely precious, let alone the complete Wu gods. Even a single scale on their body represents the essence of the fusion of 9 rules. So in the universe among them, one of the peak Wujin scales is extremely valuable. And then some practitioners transformed the statues of Wushan with the scales of Wushan. Although they are statues, they still contain the essence of the fusion of 9 rules. So you now see the 4 statues of Wushan in front of you. Each statue contains the power of strong rules. If you sense it carefully, you can sense the fusion of 9 different rules on each statue of the god. Master, now, you are just the master of the rules. If you want to break through and become the master, you must understand and integrate more rules, and this statue of thee is of great use to you. You can go and master. Realize that the 9 rules on the statue of Wushan are fused together. The 4 statues of Wushan are different in the rules of heaven and earth, and the director can experience it. After the flames had finished speaking, he paused. But Jian Wushuang's eyes had already lighted. The statue of Wushan. 9 different rules perfectly blend. Jian Wu's double body was excited. Yes, he has not become the master. And even if he becomes the master, the improvement of strength also needs to incorporate more rules of the world. And from the statue of Wu Wu, he contains the fusion of 9 rules. He can even experience the fusion of these 9 rules. For him, it is a rare opportunity. This statue of Wu God is of great use to me. Jian Wushuang sighed. Although it is very useful, Jian Wushuang did not rush to realize under this statue of Wushan, but continued to find other opportunities in this island. /14_ Emperor Jiuqian Deer. Click in and give a good comment. The higher the score, the faster the update. It is said that a beautiful wife was found at the end of the new score. Chapter 3793. There are too many opportunities on the island. Sword stones, ancient pictures in swirls, and statues of Wushan are all just one of them. Jian Wushuang searched among the islands and easily found a chance. Blink, 3 days passed. Jian Wushuang can say that the entire island has been turned over again, and there are almost 100 kinds of opportunities. And these opportunities are various. There are all kinds of Not only is it for the improvement of strength, the laws of the universe, the rules of heaven and earth, and the understanding of various Taos are helpful. There are even those who hone their consciousness and their soul strength. There are many opportunities which are of great help to Jian Wushuang. Just like in Kendo, there are 3 types of opportunities on this island that can help improve Kendo. The sword stone is just one of them. Strangely, there are all kinds of opportunities on this island. Even the opportunities to deepen the understanding of the laws of the universe, there are opportunities to help practitioners step into the threshold of the laws of the universe, but not. Jian Wushuang frowned. This second test of the sky requires him to master a little cosmic law before he can break through. Therefore, he naturally longed to find an opportunity on this island that can help him master a trace of the universe law as soon as possible and step into the threshold of the universe law. But this opportunity, Jian Wushuang did not find this island. Instead, there are opportunities to purely deepen the understanding of the laws of the universe, but there are several types on this island. The key point is that Jian Wushuang has not mastered even a trace of the laws of the universe and has not yet stepped into the threshold of the laws of the universe. That is to say, if a strong person who has understood the laws of the universe can continue to ascend on this island by chance, but a practitioner like Jian Wushuang, who has not mastered a trace of the laws of the universe, cannot find that on this island. This kind of opportunity allows you to grasp a trace of the law of the universe as soon as possible. Think carefully. Maybe the old ancestor of Red Cloud made this arrangement intentionally. Jian Wushuang muttered. He understands that for a ruler, this second test of the sky is to grasp a trace of the laws of the universe. Under such standards, if there is still a shortcut on the island of the second heaven that can quickly understand a trace of the law of the universe, then the test of the second heaven will be too easy. Although there are no shortcuts, there are too many opportunities on this island. There are many opportunities to deepen my understanding of the laws of the universe. Among these opportunities, I can feel the existence of some laws of the universe more or less. At least it is easier than just groping on your own. Jian Wushuang secretly said, "Start enlightenment." Jian Wushuang took a deep breath and quickly repaired on the island. Time passed quietly. Jian Wushuang stayed on the second day, using the opportunity on the island to carefully enlighten and improve his strength. But on the first day, many powerful people in this star field are still madly fighting for the treasure. With the birth of each piece of treasure, the competition for treasures in the Red Cloud realm became more and more fierce and crazy, especially in the last millennium. Because there are only 1,000 years left, there are obviously not many treasures born, so the competition will be more intense. In such crazy competition, the 10,000-year deadline of the Red Cloud world is slowly approaching. In the blink of an eye, 10,000 years are left, and only the last 10 years are left. In the last 10 years, the first day of the Red Cloud realm began to calm down, and the enthusiasm for the supreme treasure has gradually receded. The vast majority of practitioners in the first heavy day are now concentrated on the 7th continent, and they have all come to the foot of Tian Peak. The legend about the Red Cloud realm has been well known in this star field. Everyone knows that stepping on the peak of the sky is a test, and since it is a test, it will naturally get a lot of benefits. It is because of this that in the last 10 in the past few years, most of the strong in this star field will choose to come under the Tian Peak to try to explore. Although the Red Cloud realm has appeared in this star field for several chaotic periods and long years, no one has actually set foot on the peak of the Tianfeng Peak, and everyone knows that they have to pass the test of the Tianfeng Peak. Almost impossible, but everyone is still willing to try. After all, what if you run out of luck? At the foot of the mountain, at the pavilion at the foot of the mountain, the man in black at the gate sat calmly. In front of the man in black, there was a dense line of dragons. countless practitioners walked from the steps to this gazebo and accepted the test of the man in black. Just a moment later, the man in black opened the eyes with the young man in purple in front of him. As soon as his eyes opened, the young man in purple was pale. Weak, it's too weak. The man in black looked cold and stared at the young man in purple. I didn't need to do anything at all, and the power of God alone directly crushed you. This strength, come to break into Tianfeng? Get off. The black man's scolding showed no mercy. The young man in purple clothes looked ugly, but he was helpless. In the space of consciousness just now, the man in black did not make any shots. He just knelt down under the pressure of the random pressure. The two sides did not need to make any shots, and he lost. No way. The man in black sits at the foot of the mountain. Although it is the easiest way to step on the peak of the sky, when facing the challenger of the ruler, his outbreak is still the ultimate master. The primary dominates the level, and the divine power that dominates the level. Of course, the rule of the general rule cannot carry it. Next, the man in black spoke. Immediately someone came to challenge. Weak, too weak. It's been this long. Thousands of people have been tested before me, but until now, there wasn't even one that made me take it a little more seriously. This star field is really rubbish. Although the man in black said something like this, he knew from the bottom of his heart that this star field was not so unbearable. At least not long ago, a man easily broke through him, and he also got the news, knowing that the man has passed the test of stepping to the peak of the sky, and entered the second day. On the first day, in the last 10 years, a large number of practitioners have tried the test of stepping on the peak of the sky. As a result, the past 5 years had passed, and no one had even gone through the test of the foot of Mount Tianfeng. Until the 6th year, someone finally broke through the barrier guarded by the man in black. This person is a master Gu dominates, a top master who has already become famous in this star field, and it is rumored that he is not the master of this star field, but from another star field, only because he saw the existence of 3 battlefields in this star field. Stay here all the time. End of this chapter.